Chapter 181 Xiao Xian's compensation. Xiao Xian passed the jade to Qiao Ko, and said with a smile, "Third sister, please keep it well." Qiao Ko's face sank, as she took it from her with clenched teeth, forcing a smile out of her lips. "Thanks, sister." "No worries." Qiao Wei pursed her lips, thinking that she was such a useless person who could not even give her sister a hard time. Qiao Ko's obvious behavior made people feel very uncomfortable, so someone suggested that they should take a walk in the yard. The idea was supported by many people, and everyone headed towards the garden with Qiao Wei. Qiao Ko glared at Xiao Xian, but the very next second, she smiled and went after Qiao Wei instead, showing a flattering expression. Xiao Xian could not help but sigh. This sister of hers was as thick-cheeked as Ms. Niu and Ms. Ma. No wonder the original host did not have a good time at the Qiao family. Her lineal sister was so arrogant and her second sister was worse. Both of them had their own mothers as the support, but she had nothing. What could she have done? Xiao Xian raised her eyebrows and started to look around extensively. Everyone was watching the flower show, and headed forward without noticing the 2-finger-thick vines stretching out, which tripped Xiao Ko over. Oh! Xiao Ko became annoyed but was worried that Xiao Wei would be displeased, so she kept flattering Xiao Wei and showed no awareness of the vines. That's how she tripped over together with Xiao Wei. The two sisters fell to the ground and the whole crowd let out a scream. "Elder Miss Qiao! Help Elder Miss Qiao up quickly!" Most of the people present did not take Xiao Ko as someone important. They had seen how Xiao Wei behaved and how Xiao Ko treated her. They all thought of Xiao Ko as someone useless. Even though she fell hard, no one cared about her. But Xiao Wei fell, which was a troublesome matter. Xiao Wei was in so much pain that she turned pale. She could not regain her breath until a while later. She was snorting inwardly with hands over her knees, as she was helped up by the crowd. The maid lifted the dress and everyone gasped. There was a purple patch on Xiao Wei's knees, which was bleeding against her fair skin. It was a very shocking scene. "Bring the doctor over quickly." Zhao Ming's face crumpled as she turned to her maid and instructed. She was making complaints inside her heart. Elder Miss Qiao was hurt in her garden, and that would make her look like an irresponsible host. Elder Miss Qiao better not get mad at her. Qiao Ko was even more anxious than her. She almost wanted to kill herself. She felt like collapsing into a faint. How did this happen? She was not injured, but Xiao Wei was. "Sister." Qiao Ko sobbed. "I am sorry, I did not mean that, sorry." Xiao Wei felt like she was dying, but she had to keep her temper down in front of so many people. She bit down her anger and said, "I knew you did not mean to hurt me." Xiao Ko felt slightly assured. "Thanks, sister." Xiao Xian tried to offer some concern, but Xiao Wei was surrounded by so many people and she was directly squeezed out, so she did nothing. Xiao Xian felt slightly cheerful as she glanced at Xiao Ko. It served her right. Soon Xiao Wei was carried into a nearby room. Xiao Wei wanted to calm herself, so she only had Fendi and Xiao Ko, as well as Xiling with her. When everyone else left, Xiao Wei changed her face directly as she glared at Xiao Ko fiercely. Chapter 182 Lecture. Xiao Ko shivered as she said in a trembling voice, "Sister, you bitch." Xiao Wei glared at her and almost burst out in anger. She had the intention of ripping her off. "Kneel down." Xiao Ko fell on the ground without any hesitation. "Sister, your eyes are useless if they can't even see the road." Xiao Wei cursed with her teeth clenched. She said to Fendi, "What are you looking at? Discipline her." She was suffering from so much pain and she could not tolerate the idea of having been tripped over in public. Pale, Xiao Ko begged for mercy in a small voice. Fendi was very proficient. She immediately went to pinch Xiao Ko's arms. It was early summer and people were wearing thin clothes. Arms would hurt from the pinch, but the wound would not be noticed. They were guests in someone else's home, and should not slap them on the face. It would be seen. Xiao Ko's head almost exploded. She, out of compulsion, could not dodge it. The tears were gathered in her eyes, but she could not cry out. She begged and said, "Sister, please, forgive me." Qiao Wei's anger was vented, as she said coldly, "You bitch, just wait until we get home. I will teach you a proper lesson then." Qiao Ko sobbed. "It is my fault, I have hurt you, sister, I will definitely beg for forgiveness from mother. Please don't be mad at me." Qiao Wei snorted and stopped glaring at her. What a bitch. She was not even worth the attention. Seeing her on her knees, wiping the tears, she was still really mad at her. Qiao Ko gritted her teeth and reminded herself that she could not offend Xiao Wei, so she had to keep the hatred inside her heart. She hated Xianxia fiercely at this moment. She was humiliated in front of Xianxia. She had wanted to embarrass Xianxia but got humiliated herself. Qiao Ko felt increasingly annoyed. "Sister, it is Xianxia who pushed me so I bumped into you." Qiao Wei threw a cold look at her. Qiao Wei knew clearly that Xianxia was not next to her, and Xianxia never did anything to her, when Zhao Ming and the crowd were next to them. But she did not counter Qiao Ko. She did not have the intention of defending Xianxia. Seeing that her sister seemed to have accepted her words, Qiao Ko brought herself up and started to narrate the incident as if she were telling the truth. "Sister, Xianxia is the real bitch. You must have noticed that. She is getting so sneaky these days. She looks as if she were down to earth, but honestly, sister, she has never had a bad day. Everyone is also saying that you are bullying her. She is just playing dumb to make herself seem innocent. Now she is married and living far away. That's why she is getting bold. She just takes advantage of the situation and is giving us a bad time. What if she does something horrible behind your back?" Then, moved, Qiao Wei started to think over her words and felt weird. However, Xianxia looked absolutely humble, but she never had a hard time. She even made herself forget about humiliating her. It all seemed so strange. Chapter 183 made Xiao Wei could not help but start to think about the past. She suddenly felt that she never had any impression of Xianxia at all. She was just a silent person who never drew anyone's attention. She looked honest at the moment, but she did not seem as genuine as before. Qiao Wei's face started to turn twisted. Was Xianxia putting on a show? Was she lying to her? What was she thinking? Qiao Ko was observing Xiao Wei, who apparently had taken her own words seriously. She could not help but chuckle inside her heart. She was trying to make Xianxia get sullied with all kinds of filth. Soon, Zhao Ming was knocking outside, whispering that the doctor was here. Xiao Wei threw a look at Xiao Ko. "Get up." "Thank you, sister." Xiao Ko answered and got up carefully with the help of the maid's hand. Xiao Wei had just skinned her knees, and the extreme pain had already passed. The doctor gave the medicine and went away. Xiao Wei was not in a mood for any more fun. Her limping leg could not take her anywhere. She even wanted to leave without eating lunch. Zhao Ming could not keep her but walked her out personally. When she left, the others did not remain there any longer and bid farewell. Xianxia let out a sigh of relief that she was finally going to leave. But Xiao Wei said to her, "You don't come to the town often, so come back home with me and greet our mother." Xianxia agreed obediently and glanced at Xiao Ko. She could see how proud Xiao Ko looked. At this moment, Xianxia withdrew her gaze and understood that she must have played some tricks in the middle. Xianxia hated Xiao Ko deeply. She was like a fly who kept disgusting people. Sometimes she just did not understand what benefit would Xiao Ko get after picking on her. It was never easy to understand what these rubbish people were thinking. Xianxia followed Xiao Wei and Xiao Ko to the wagon and headed towards the town. Xiao Ko kept mocking her on the way there. But Xianxia did not counter her and stayed silent. She was going to see what Xiao Ko would get after sucking up to Xiao Wei. Xiao Wei did not mock Xianxia, but called out a maid called Lu Yan. She said to Xianxia, "You are father's daughter and you don't even have a maid. Father would look bad in this way. Take Lu Yan home." she will be your maid from today onwards. Qiao Wei never mentioned anything about the maid's contract, because Lu Yan's contract was in Qiao Wei's hands. Xiao Xian was startled and she panicked. I don't think it would work, we are just a countryside family. Just take her. Qiao Wei looked impatient as she said coldly, you don't even want to accept my gift. No. Thanks, sister. Xiao Xian accepted Lu Yan reluctantly, but Lu Yan wasn't at all happy. She clearly knew that the countryside wasn't a good place to live in, and she didn't know when she would return to the town. She did not even look at Xiao Xian, but kowtowed to Qiao Wei politely. She looked extremely unhappy. Chapter 184. Maid from Sister Xiao Xian ignored her reaction. Soon Xiao Xian waved them goodbye and left with Lu Yan. The moment she left, Madame Qiao turned angry seeing Qiao Wei's wounds on her knees. Before Qiao Ko could beg for forgiveness, she scolded her and grounded her for 10 days and asked her to copy 10 scrolls of Buddha scripts. Angry inside her heart, Qiao Ko looked pitiful and helpless. She had tears in her eyes but did not dare to utter another word. Xiao Xian left with Lu Yan and met up with Xiao Yunduan. Xiao Yunduan let out a sigh of relief seeing her coming back safe and sound. But he was surprised to see Lu Yan there. He turned to Xiao Xian with a look of inquiry. Xiao Xian winked at her and said pretentiously in a weak voice, "This is Lu Yan, a maid given by my sister." Lu Yan could not help but purse her lips, snorting and rolling her eyes at Xiao Yunduan. Maid? They were just poor people, how did they call her a maid? Also, her elder miss did not give her to them. She was asked to spy on them. Her contract was in her elder miss' hands, who said that when she was done with her task, she would be brought back home again. Did this couple really think that they were someone of importance? Did they think that she was going to serve them for a long time? They were just dreaming. Xiao Yunduan frowned slightly. He understood what elder Miss Qiao wanted to do. Madame Qiao must have been involved in it too. Xiao Yunduan did not show any reaction when they were in town. He nodded gently. I got it. Then, let's go home. He was totally relieved to see Xiao Xian safe and sound. Yes, let's go. Xiao Xian nodded and felt a bit gloomy. She could do something about Lu Yan, but she was not going to do that right away. They had no choice but to return empty-handed, instead of buying some meat and snacks for home. What bad luck for them. The roasted chicken they bought the other day was used to save the man on the road. She had intended to buy another one today. The roasted chicken looked crispy on the surface and it must be delicious. They rented the bullock cart for their transportation. The rakes were almost done and they did not need to spend money on rakes anymore. So they had the bullock cart with them. The rent was twice as high as on regular days. Xiao Yunduan was driving the cart while Xiao Xian took the back seat. But Lu Yan did not like it. She did not even help Xiao Xian get onto the cart, and even if she saw Xiao Xian getting on the cart, she refused to do anything. Xiao Xian sneered inwardly. What was this maid thinking? She had her life at the mercy of someone else. What rights did she have to showcase her sense of superiority in front of a free woman like her? How ridiculous. But she did not bother to engage with a stupid woman like that. Instead, she said gently, with a smile, the cart is a bit shabby. It is okay if you aren't used to it. You will be able to catch up with us. We won't run too fast, so you can walk along. Lu Yan was startled. So, she was either taking the cart or walking. Xiao Xian was not going to hire the wagon for her. She did not have money. Lu Yan felt that Xiao Xian was actually stabbing her right in the face, and she could not see what was going on. However, she was not going to walk it. She was going to travel far into the mountains, and she needed to keep her legs for such an unknowingly long trip. Chapter 185. Overcome. Lu Yan pursed her lips, but started to climb up to the cart unwillingly. When she was about to climb on, Xiao Yunduan waved the whip that hit straight on the bull's back. The bull, which got the jerk, suddenly lunges forward. Lu Yan let out a frightened scream. She took hold of the edge and climbed onto the cart in a messy way. But Xiao Yunduan did not have the intention of stopping. He did not care about the commotion behind his back. Qiao Xian asked Xiao Xian in concern. Are you all right? She almost burst into laughter but controlled it. Xiao Yunduan, who looked so honest, could even throw a prank like this. She loved it. After a long while, Lu Yan finally settled on the cart. She was furious and glared at Xiao Xian. All right? She was not at all right. Xiao Xian ignored the stare and showed a gentle smile, sounding tolerant. That is how a bullock cart works, not as comfortable as a cart, so, please learn to get used to it. Having said the words, Xiao Xian ignored her and whispered to Xiao Yunduan. Looking at the shabby cart, and the chair that had been taken by Xiao Xian, she found that she did not even have anywhere to sit apart from the filthy board. Moreover, her hands were still on the board. Lu Yan felt so disgusted that she raised her hands in the air. The next second, she again got flung backwards on the cart, and almost got herself smashed on the board. Feeling wronged, Lu Yan burst into tears. She felt so humiliated, but she did not want to show it. So, she tried to hide the sobbing sound. Poor her. Why her? Why was she suffering from misery? She did not want to stay here anymore. She turned to Xiao Xian's retreating figure. It was the second miss who made this happen. She was going to see what second miss had so she could take revenge on her when she returned. Finally, they arrived at the village. Xiao Yunduan and Xiao Xian led Lu Yan home. Seeing the shabby-looking house, Lu Yan felt even more sad. What a terrible place. Xiao Xian felt a little bit troubled too. What was she going to do about the accommodation? They had 2 rooms available, but they needed to be cleaned up. Xiao Xian presented Lu Yan to Ms. Fang and Xiao Taotao. Then she turned to Lu Yan. Come and greet Madame Xiao and third miss. Lu Yan was startled. Miss Fang and Xiao Taotao were startled too. No, it is okay. Miss Fang shook her head and arms. She was not used to such behavior. Xiao Xian added. Mom, this is the maid my sister gave us. We can use her in any way we want. That is the rule. Lu Yan, kneel down and greet them. Slaves, when they met their masters for the first time, needed to kowtow. Lu Yan felt dizzy and was shocked. Was she going to greet a countryside woman and a rural girl? Second miss was mental. She was not her real master. Xiao Xian frowned. What are you doing, Lu Yan? If you don't even know about the rules, you are humiliating my parents. I will send you home so you can learn them again. Startled, Lu Yan collapsed and kneeled. Greetings, Madame Xiao and third miss. Greetings. Chapter 186 Habit. Seeing that Xiao Xian could make her kneel down so smoothly, Lu Yan could not help but feel irritated. But it was already too late. She was a maid after all, and she was used to kneeling down. So she did it almost subconsciously. Xiao Taotao got so frightened that she retreated backwards, and turned to look at Xiao Xian nervously. Miss Fang was startled as well. Well, get up, now. She almost reached out to help Lu Yan up, but Xiao Xian stopped her secretly. Xiao Xian turned to Lu Yan and smiled. You have done well. Get up now. From this moment on, you should settle down properly and serve us full-heartedly. Just do what you are supposed to do. Do not say anything that should not be said, or do anything that should not be done. In this way, you can live a good life. My mother-in-law and her family are all excellent and kind-hearted people. You can be assured. Okay, let's go and clean up your room. Xiao Xian looked at Ms. Fang when she said that. Ms. Fang nodded dumbly as Xiao Xian led Lu Yan to a small wing room, where she needed to clean up everything alone. She was the maid, but why must she clean up her own accommodation as well? Seeing that the light was bad, and there was some mold floating in the air, Lu Yan noticed that the broken side room was filled with stuff. Everything was so filthy. She got so angry that she said to Qiao Xian, "Second miss, this is not a place to live." Qiao Xian smiled. "This is what the countryside is like. What about me sending you back home, if you are not used to living here?" Lu Yan. She wanted to do that too, but she could not leave, not right now. Lu Yan almost burst into tears. "But how can I clean it up? I don't know how to do that. Second miss, please get 2 people to help me out." She worked with elder miss as the secondary maid, who had never done this kind of tough labor work. Qiao Xian stopped smiling and frowned. "Who do you want me to get to help you?" "Me? My mother-in-law? My sisters-in-law? You are a maid, and this is your work. What about you going back to the Qiao family and bringing someone over to help you?" Standing there motionlessly, Lu Yan turned to look at Qiao Xian in disbelief. Qiao Xian ignored her, turned around and left. Lu Yan stared at Qiao Xian transfixedly. For a moment, she almost felt that there was something wrong with Second Mississippi. But she said nothing in return. Seeing the mess in front of her, she felt so bad that she wanted to die. She was not in a mood to do anything. Qiao Xian went to speak with Miss Fang and Xiao Tao Tao about Lu Yan's presence here. "I did not dare to tell you about this, Mom, because I was worried that you would hate me. My lineal mother doesn't like me that much, and Lu Yan is here to spy on me. She might even do something to make our family worse." So, Xiao Tao Tao was transfixed. She always believed that 5th sister-in-law must have lived a good life at her mother's home, where she never needed to worry about anything. But it seemed that her 5th sister-in-law had not been in a good position earlier. The kind-hearted girl felt so sorry for 5th sister-in-law. She did not have a mother to love her, and did not even dare to report it to her father. It was so difficult. She was going to treat her 5th sister-in-law well, so she could live a happy life. Chapter 187 Ideas. Miss Fang was dumbfounded. She felt very sorry when she heard her daughter-in-law. She soon realized what was going on. No wonder she had felt that something was wrong right at the beginning. The Qiao family did not seem to be very passionate about marrying their daughter. She had thought it was because they never thought the Xiao family were a good match for their girl, but she never expected that it was because their daughter was not considered as someone important. Her daughter-in-law did not even bring a maid with her. She should have noticed that before. "Good girl, don't be silly. I will never blame you. I will cherish you for the rest of my life. This maid is not here to serve you full-heartedly. Now that I understand that, I will not allow her to do anything bad against us." Miss Fang consoled Qiao Xian and started to feel disgusted towards Madame Qiao and her husband. She knew what she should do with Lu Yan. Madame Qiao and Officer Qiao were blind not to treat such a good girl kindly. Qiao Xian let out a sigh of relief, and smiled brightly. "I feel so relieved that you don't blame me. I will definitely treat you and all the siblings well." Miss Fang smiled. "You are already treating them well already," Qiao Xian added. "Lu Yan may not be that obedient. You have to stay alert, and tell sister-in-law about her too." Miss Fang nodded. "I will. Don't worry, if she ever dares to do anything, I will beat and scold her. She is just a maid, isn't she?" Miss Fang, who had not been pleased with the maid, suddenly felt motivated. She found herself feeling like the master. Qiao Xian chuckled and nodded. "Of course." Miss Fang was satisfied with her response. Qiao Xian went to Xiao Yunduan and discussed the matter. They had no idea what Xiao Wei's purpose was. Qiao Xian said, "My lineal sister always has different ideas. I believe that Xiao Ko must have said some bad words about me. Let us just keep the maid, she won't be able to turn the table." Xiao Yunduan nodded. "Don't let her know that you can make money, hide it well." Qiao Xian burst into laughter, feeling warm inside her heart. "I will." She suddenly added. "She should never get close to our room or touch your books, or disturb your studies." Xiao Yunduan nodded seriously. "I will not allow her to get close to me at all." Xian liked what she heard, and gave him a smile. When they were done talking, Xian asked Xiao to come over to her room. They took out the seeds of tomatoes and sun-dried them, so they could be planted. Xian took out the seeds, spread them out in a small round dustpan covered with gauze. She said to her, Tao, please take good care of the seeds for me. They should only be planted after being sun-dried. The fruits can be eaten as either snacks or vegetables. They are good things. Xian did not want Lu Yan to see these, nor did she want mice or birds to peck at them, so she entrusted Xiao to do the job. Xiao nodded at her and said, Don't worry, fifth sister-in-law, I will take good care of the seeds and lose none. Xian smiled. Just relax, and make sure that you have some left. She believed that one seed could create a whole plain. She could make it spread faster and wider after that. Chapter 188. Feeling good, the two of them talked and then went up to the yard for a walk. There were many loquats, plums, mulberries, and bayberries in the garden, which looked very attractive as they were hanging on the branches. The two of them held a few in each basket. They washed and sun-dried them, so that the whole family could eat it. Wild lemons had grown quite a bit, so had peaches, as well as dates, persimmons, pears, grapes, and figs. The watermelon's veins were everywhere, casting a patch of greenness on the ground, looking really interesting. The watermelons were round and in different sizes. The large ones were as big as bowls. Xian felt that she could pour in some power so the watermelons could be ready to be eaten earlier. What a wonderful thing! The pomegranates were also blooming, and they were particularly bright and dazzling. No wonder there was a sentence in the ancient poem, in May, the pomegranates shine brightly. The planted panax noto ginseng and ginseng had already sprouted and grown more than 2 inches tall. Gastrodia looked even more energetic and neat. Xiao was very careful and excited when seeing the medical herbs. They were all worth a lot of money. She was so happy for fifth sister-in-law, even though the plants did not belong to her. By evening, the whole family was back and learned about the maid. For farmers' families, it was a fresh thing, so Lu Yan attracted a lot of attention as if she were someone rare. Lu Yan started to feel quite proud inwardly. She could not help but straighten her back, thinking that these rural people must have not seen the noble air around a girl like her. The maids from large families were surely more noble than ordinary daughters. Also, she was in a better position than those from the large families, since she was working at the officer's home. These rural people must feel so ashamed and jealous seeing her. But those villagers felt strange as to why she looked so proud. Only Xian and Xiao Yunduan could tell what she was thinking, and they rolled their eyes inwardly. Xian decided to get 2 crucian carps from the backyard water tank and braised them. There were many fish and shrimps in the river, and Xianxia always brought back some and added them to the water tank when they ran out of ingredients. Xian was used to making meat dishes, and Ms. Su, as well as Xiao would take care of the preparations. Seeing Xian working so hard in the kitchen, Lu Yan stayed far away from them, fearing that Xian would ask her to help as well. She laughed at Second Mississippi. She was even worse than a maid like her. She had never needed to do any work in the kitchen. She was going to remember this and tell Elder Miss about this. Her Elder Miss was definitely going to be very happy. Xian made braised carps, steamed eggs, and then walked out of the kitchen. Miss Su made fried yam slices and stewed beans. They added a bowl of sponge gourd and the whole family started to eat together. Before Lu Yan could see the dishes, Xian took her to the kitchen. We don't have any rules here, you don't have to stay by our side when we eat. You can eat in the kitchen if you want to. Lu Yan. Staying by their side? What were they dreaming about? Chapter 189. Too lazy. Thinking that the rural people did not live in a luxurious state, Lu Yan refused to eat with them on the same table. So, she nodded and left. Xian smiled and went for lunch, leaving Lu Yan alone in the kitchen. Lu Yan looked at the dish that was left for her. There was half a bowl of rice, with yams and beans, as well as some slices of gourd. All were vegetables, and there was not much oil in them. How could this be edible? Miss Fang told Miss Qiao to put in as many seasoning spices as possible, which was much better than before, considering that the family had plenty of money for the moment. At least right now, the dishes were not tasteless. But compared to the kitchen of the county magistrate's home, the dishes definitely paled in comparison. Lu Yan was a secondary maid, who was used to eating meat during every meal. Whenever Qiao Wei was happy, she would even give the maid some desserts or leftovers of the delicious dishes. So, Lu Yan was not at all used to the poverty she had to face now. Seeing the rice and vegetables, Lu Yan suddenly felt unhappy. How could this food be eaten? She was not satisfied, but Xianxia, who was very cautious towards her and could punish her whenever she made mistakes, would never mistreat her. If she were in anyone else's family, she would not even end up being given a bowl of rice. Lu Yan could not stand it anymore. She ate a small portion of the dish, put down the chopsticks and bowl and returned to her wing room. She kept sobbing lying on the hard and shabby wooden bed. Lu Yan had a very difficult time throughout the night. The following day when Lu Yan woke up, she was feeling very sore on her limbs and back. She felt like dying, all alone in this place. But she was here on a mission and she could only leave when she was done with the task. That made Lu Yan feel motivated. Her mission was not about serving the whole family, so she refused to get out of the bed when she woke up. What if she was asked to do hard labor work? Lu Yan did not get up until a long while later. Miss Fang was alone at home, taking care of her grandchildren. The others were out for work, except for Xiao Yunduan, who was studying in the room. Qiao Xian was making lipsticks in the floral field. Miss Fang would have gone out with her grandchildren to visit others, but for the fact that she had to keep an eye on Lu Yan. She glanced at Lu Yan's room, feeling very displeased. How could a maid be so lazy? She should have been sold away. Lu Yan combed her hair, washed her face and found 2 steamed buns for breakfast. She ate them up in silence. The steamed buns were cold and stiff. For Lu Yan, they were like wax. Lu Yan was greedy for the steamed buns with meat and ground meat porridge. She desperately wanted to go back to where she came from. Lu Yan gave herself a pep talk and then went up to Miss Fang. "Greetings, Madame Xiao," she came to Miss Fang and said with a flattering smile, "Young master grandson and lady granddaughter are so good-looking. They must have a great fortune in the future." Xiao Junyan and Xiao Qing were eating loquats and plums, seated on the chairs next to Miss Fang. The bright yellow loquats and dark red plums were big and plump, and the juice flowed across the lips when they took a bite. The flesh was thick and tender, and the fruit was full of flavor. The 2 children ate everything with relish and had satisfied smiling faces. It looked delicious at first sight. Lu Yan could not help but feel like eating the fruit as well. She gulped down the saliva, and reached out for the basket. Chapter 190. Not her. Miss Fang moved the basket and snapped at her. "You are not at all honest. You are such a lazy maid. Even the most lazy woman in the village wakes up at this hour and does not even get to eat porridge." Lu Yan sneered and thought that she was not a woman from the village anyways. Lu Yan felt humiliated when she was snapped at by an elderly woman from the countryside. She forced a small smile out of her lips. "You are right, Madame Xiao, I will correct myself. Where is second miss? Is she also working in the field?" "Of course." Miss Fang snapped at Lu Yan, as she pursed her lips. "We need to eat by doing labor work. You can sweep the yard, the broomstick is in the corner. That is your job from this day on, 1 sweep in the morning and the evening, no early sweeping in the afternoon, wait until the ducks, chickens, and geese all return to the nests." Lu Yan felt even worse when she heard about her task. "Madame Xiao." Lu Yan's smile stiffened, as she said unhappily, "But I am here to serve second miss, and I can't do such heavy labor. I am not good at it either. There is such a thing as serving." Miss Fang's eyes arose as she sneered. "Let me tell you, Miss Qiao is working at our home, and your status is even less than hers. What are you countering me for? One more word, and I will slap you right on the face. Lu Yan's face turned pale. She was startled. She believed her words completely. Rough women from the countryside always hit or scolded people, instead of talking reasonably. She could look down at Ms. Fang and her family in her heart, but she could not dare to counter Ms. Fang, if she really slapped her. It is my fault, I am sorry. Madam, don't be mad, I will sweep the floor now. Instead of arguing, Lu Yan started to sweep the floor. Ms. Fang frowned. Xiao Taotao had swept the floor early in the morning. Lu Yan could never do a good job. This was such a mess. Ms. Fang looked down at her inside her heart. What was she doing here, and she even wasted their food? Ms. Fang wanted to drive her away directly, if she could. Lu Yan sneaked back to her own room, when she saw that Ms. Fang was not paying attention to her. The broken wing room was a poor place, but it was much better than doing the labor work. She was very worried that Ms. Fang would make her do the hard tasks again. Lu Yan kept herself hidden from everyone. Xianxia as well as the rest of the family did not care, because they never expected her to do anything in the first place. Xianxia even was worried that Lu Yan would seduce Xiaoyunduan, but it seemed that Lu Yan was avoiding the brothers of the Xiao family, fearing that she would be too attached. That made Xianxia feel quite assured. Lu Yan did not dare to irritate Ms. Fang, so she tried to get close to Ms. Su and Xiao Taotao, hoping to get some news about Xianxia from them. But Ms. Fang had told Ms. Su and Xiao Taotao not to say anything, so her attempts failed. They were worried not to be able to counter Lu Yan, who might use tricky means, so they kept silent and said nothing. Without any way out, Lu Yan failed to get any valuable information for elder Miss Qiao, so she clenched her teeth, and expressed that she was going to keep Xianxia company to do labor work in the fields. But Xianxia turned her down. Chapter 191 Different Identities. She was never going to let her know about the existence of her floral fields. Xianxia's rejection caused suspicion in Lu Yan's eyes. She tried to stalk Xianxia, but was discovered by Xiaoqi. Xianxia lectured her and asked Xiao Taotao to take her to Ms. Fang. Lu Yan tried to sneak into Xiaoyunduan and Xiaoxian's room when Xiaoyunduan was at the college for studies, trying to find something there. But Miss Fang got to know and found her when she was going through the wardrobe. Miss Fang snapped at her angrily. Knowing that she was not in a good position, Lu Yan apologized and did not dare to counter her. Knowing what happened, Xiaoxia angrily slapped Lu Yan right on the face, pointing at her and cursing. Who do you think you are? How dare you rummage through my room? If you ever do that again, I am going to chop your hands and ruin your face. Let's see if my good mother is going to defend you then. Xiaoxia did not care if Lu Yan was idling around. But she could not stand it when she dared into her room. Lu Yan should never be allowed to find anything in her room. Slapping her was the least punishment she could give to her. Lu Yan felt her face flush badly. She was so shocked that she even forgot to scream and stared at Xiaoxia in surprise. Did Second Miss just slap her? How could Second Miss be so ferocious? Did she really, actually hit her? She was the timid and honest Second Miss. She was supposed to be weak. Lu Yan felt as if she were dreaming. Lu Yan believed that Xiaoxia was a timid person who could be bullied easily, and that was why Lu Yan sneaked into Xiaoxia's room. Any servant would be punished heavily if such a thing happened in a family. Servants might even die, if their masters had a bad temper. Heard what I just said? What? Lu Yan brought herself back, and felt pain arising on her cheek. Second Miss seemed so intimidating at that moment. She could not help but shiver, as she replied. Yes, I did. Then bear my words in your mind. Xiaoxia sneered. Don't you ever forget whose hands you are in. I am not out for your blood, but don't think that I am someone easily bullied. If I am going to punish you, your contract will become mine too. I can ruin you, and your master will not be able to do anything about it, understand? Lu Yen turned pale and showed horror and fright. If second miss ruined her, elder miss would definitely not help her, but blame her for not being able to complete the mission well. She would kick her away instead of caring about her. Elder miss might blame second miss as well, but what more could she do? Second miss was also Officer Qiao's daughter. Lu Yen suddenly realized who she really was. She was just a maid, and second miss was the master. They had a huge difference in their identities. If second miss ignored her, then things would be fine, but if she wanted to do anything to her, she would be helpless against the attack. Go into the wing room. No food for you today. Xiao said coldly. Without uttering any sound, Lu Yen rushed away. Back in the wing room, Lu Yen collapsed onto the hard wooden bed, and her heart throbbed heavily. Chapter 192 Elder Miss Prize. But soon Lu Yen became excited again. Her eyes were sparkling. No wonder Elder Miss had sent her to watch out for Second Mississippi. There was something wrong with Second Miss. She was hiding herself so well that she did not reveal her real temper until this day. Elder Miss was so smart to have noticed this secret. Lu Yen turned extremely happy. It was a great piece of news. She was going to take the information to Elder Mississippi. Elder Miss was definitely going to bestow great prizes and praise her. Elder Miss had told her that Second Miss would go back to her mother's home on the 15th day of August. At that time, she would reveal everything to Elder Mississippi. All she needed was to wait until that day. When the rakes were ready, it was time for seedling. That was something that needed to be done at the right hour. The first section of the Xiao family only had 7 mu of field, and their grain production was not so high. So, it took time and labor to finish the field planting. Xiao ceased her work of lipstick, because Ms. Su and Tao Tao as well as Qi were helping out with sowing seedlings in the field. Ms. Fang was cooking at home, and Xiao was asked to take care of Xiao Junyan and Xiao Qing. As for Xiao Yunduan, he was busy studying in his room, whilst the other brothers were out in the field. Second and third sections of the family again came to the door. They first started to coax eldest uncle outside home. As a result, at dinner time, elder uncle said, "Let's take an early break tonight. We need to get down to work on the seedlings in the field. When you are done, you can help second uncle and third uncle as well. It is a very important matter that can't be delayed." Miss Fang rolled her eyes before he could finish his words. The whole family showed no look of surprise. They had been used to this kind of request. But things were different this year. What? They don't own our fields, do they? We made the rakes, why must we do the seedling work too? Oh, does this mean that we can get the fruits when autumn comes? And we can pick the rice we want? Are they so handicapped that they can't move at all? Eldest uncle frowned. How can you say things like this? We talked about this before. We will forget our past grudges and start fresh. Why are you still thinking about this? Miss Fang got even more annoyed. Of course I am thinking about it. I am telling the truth. They betray us and then they badmouth us. Why must I forget about this? Why are you thinking about making us do all the work for them? We are all so busy, they can do the seedling work themselves. That is my brother, not someone outside the family. Eldest uncle stressed angrily, after being interrupted by Ms. Fang again. You are behaving over the top. We can help them when we have time. Also, they will help us with seedlings too. What are you splitting your hair for? We don't need them. They can do their own work if they have time. Chapter 193 Clear in mind. Eldest uncle glared. You are not working in the field, so you have no rights to make a decision. Miss Fang looked at her sons. Do you need second and third uncle for help? Xiao Dalong was too honest to make an expression. He scratched his head and did not dare to utter a sound. Miss Su did the same thing too. She did not say a thing, but inwardly, she was cheering for her mother-in-law. Xiao Sanlang did not give up after hearing what his mother said. I don't think so. They are always lazy and they never do anything. Xiao Xiaoqi and Xiao Taotao nodded in agreement. They are so lazy and slow. We are much faster. Last year when we helped second uncle with the seedling, second aunt-in-law took second cousin back home and told her to help with cooking. But when we came to her home for lunch, we did not get to eat any food except for one pot of porridge and pickles. That was such a simple lunch that I believed the second aunt-in-law could have done it alone, eldest uncle. Heard that? Miss Fang sneered. No one cares about them. They are just tricking us. They are getting more and more treacherous towards us. Elder uncle felt humiliated, as he said in a sunken voice, you should drop the idea. We are going to help, that is all. Understood. Qiao Xian could not stand the whole thing anymore. She smiled. Mom, it is very easy to resolve this matter. We can help them the way they help us, that is fairness, right? The whole family immediately got clarity in their minds. Xiao Yunduan could not help but glance at Xiao Xian, smiling. He had come up with the idea before, but he could not say it out loud. He was the son, who should not humiliate his father publicly. It was better for his wife to say so. That is true. Xiao Sanlang struck his leg, eyes sparkling. This is a great idea. You are so smart, fifth sister-in-law. Eldest uncle shivered. Shut up, Miss Qiao, what kind of idea is it? Seedling is an important thing, we have to take it seriously. Miss Fang was very displeased. She sneered. What are you shouting at my daughter-in-law for? We are being totally fair, not messing around. Seedling is a very important thing, so you can ask your brothers to pay attention to their own business. It should not be delayed, right? Why didn't you blame them for being lazy? Isn't seedling important for them? If you like them so much, you can help them yourself. Qiao Xian said, after the seedling process is over, we are going to host the wedding for the third sister-in-law, and we are totally occupied. I need to hire elder brother and elder sister-in-law to help with preparations. She really did not have time to help the other sections of the family with anything. Qiao Xian was not yet done with lipsticks. She needed to continue with her work. Yue Xiao had told her that she should make as many as possible, and he was going to buy them all. They only had 500 lipsticks available for sale. She had to hurry up. One lipstick was worth 2 liang and that was a great thing. They had no wax, so she needed to take Qi and Tao Tao into the mountains. She was going to take in 30 bees boxes within a month. She planned to plant mushrooms too, apart from lipsticks. She had made a new plan. She was going to plant fungus, especially white fungus, which were widely accepted, valuable and precious. Chapter 194 Not others. In addition, she could plant some straw mushrooms, enoki mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, and poplar mushrooms, which would be delicious to be eaten. She did not trust anyone else, but her family. Ms. Su did not dare to counter her father-in-law while facing something else. But Xiao Xian was talking about the business that helped Ms. Su to earn money, so she had to say something. Working for Xiao Xian helped her earn money, and that made Ms. Su feel really pleased. She often counted the money she had saved in the room, laughing like a silly woman. She was saving it all for her own future. So when Xiao Xian offered some more work, while her father-in-law intended to get them to help the other sections of the family, she felt really annoyed. As a result, Ms. Su said boldly, "True. Dad, we can't delay what fifth sister-in-law needs us to do, right? We must help our own family first." Ms. Fang looked at Ms. Su. You are right, we should understand who is closer, and who is further away from us. Furious, eldest uncle finally snapped. You are all trying to irritate me. All right then, you all can stay put. I will go over myself. Having said the words, eldest uncle walked away, angrily. Miss Fang sneered. All right, just leave my sons alone. Don't you forget to stay for lunch there. Eldest uncle wanted to ignore what she said, but caught all of it. He got so annoyed that he almost tripped over. Xianxia bit her lips hard, trying not to laugh. Xiao Dalong panicked. Mom, will this work? Will Dad get mad? Xianxia was laughing inwardly. This elder brother was way too down to earth. Of course her father-in-law was angry. He got so angry that he almost collapsed. Just leave him alone. Miss Fang sneered. He asked for it. You should all listen carefully to me, never join him and help them. Xiao Sanlang and the others nodded happily. I won't, never. Although they felt a bit unsure about their father being angry, it was such a wonderful feeling, wasn't it? Xiao Dalong intended to say something more, when Ms. Su tugged his sleeves, so he said nothing else. His wife was smarter than him, so when his wife made the suggestion, he closed his mouth no matter how confused he was, unless it dealt with principles and bottom lines. The following day, Xiao Dalong and Ms. Su went to work in their own fields. Miss Fang was busy with housework, whilst Xianxia kept the two children company and fed the ducks and roosters. Roosters only needed to walk in the yard, where they would get happy and return on their own at night. Ducks and geese had grown very big as well. After they were fed, they were driven out of the home, and they returned in the evening after spending the whole day in the river. Xianxia was not very sure about the animals, so she followed the ducks and geese in the river and brought the two children along. When they returned home, she knocked at the door, waking up Lu Yan. Xianxia felt that such a lazy person should not remain at home. If she had nothing to do, she would cause trouble. In this case, she could be given to do something. Lu Yan was hesitant. Apparently, she did not care about Xianxia when she was not really in contradiction with her. Chapter 195 Real second miss but for Shouting Village, which was far away from the town, and she, as a single girl, was worried about running into something unpleasant on the way. She would have run away rather than stay here. That was why Xianxia was never worried about her running away. Seeing how Lu Yan was behaving, Xianxia sneered. Sweep the floor clean, chop the wood well and wash all the clothes. No food for you, if you don't finish the work. If you can stay hungry for a couple of days, then you are welcome to do nothing. She had not entrusted her with any work before, because she wanted to see what Lu Yan could do. It was never difficult for her to rectify her. Lu Yan was surprised, unconvinced and extremely furious. She was certain that the second miss had changed. She was different from before. Or the second miss had always been pretending in the past. Second miss at this moment was the authentic one. Lu Yan had never respected Xianxia. So when she was threatened, she was not very happy. She threatened back in a soft tone. Second miss, don't forget that elder miss has told me to bring you back for the gift presentation on Mid-Autumn Day. I am a person given by elder miss and madam to you. I can only serve you with some tea. You should remember who is behind me. Second miss, you are humiliating me constantly. That is not good, right? Xianxia smiled. You are wrong. What do you mean by who is behind you? Should I explain my actions to you? Do you think that just because your contract is not in my hands, I can do nothing about you? Mid-Autumn Day is still not here yet. Do you think that I will be afraid of your report to them? Just wait and see what happens if you disobey me, okay? Lu Yan's face changed slightly, as she stood motionlessly. But she still did not want to move. She refused to do any labor work. She just did not want to do farmer's work. Maids from the mansion never did anything like this. Xianxia raised her eyebrows and was about to say something, when Ms. Niu came in with her grandson in arms. She shouted. Elder sister-in-law, you bear the grudge in your mind for so long. What are you staying here for? We are just offering our help, Ms. Fang countered immediately. I don't care. You can do your own work if you want to. We don't need your help, because you are going to say that your time and fields got wasted because you helped us with seedlings. How horrible that would sound. Miss Fang told the other two sections of the family not to visit them. She did not help them either. Second uncle and third uncle had an argument with Miss Fang, but they never showed up anyway. They believed that they were kind-hearted, but they were turned down early in the morning. Even good-tempered people would not feel pleased after a while. Ms. Niu came to the door directly, when she became frustrated. Now she got even more furious, when she was countered by Miss Fang. She became anxious and panicked. Actually, she was upset about having to do everything alone. She had been waiting for the first section of the family to help as always done in the past. She could not stand losing the easy help, which used to be available to her every time in the past. She was a greedy person and felt that she had been put into a disadvantageous situation. Miss Fang was so disgusting, she thought. Ms. Niu glared at Xiao Xian. She felt that it was all Xiao Xian's fault. Chapter 196 Fierceness. Ms. Niu regretted so deeply that she had not protested against this marriage. Nothing good had happened after Miss Qiao became part of the family. Xiao Xian did not care about her reaction. She even thought of an idea when she saw Ms. Niu's look. She said, "Second aunt-in-law, we are already in different families. We should care about our own business. Mom is right. You are just humiliating yourself by coming here. But, second aunt-in-law, if you are so busy, I can offer some help." She pointed at Lu Yan and smiled. "This is my maid, Lu Yan. Why not take home and make her do your work? You can do whatever you want with her. Maybe, she can be of some help to you." Ms. Niu, who had been so angry a few seconds ago, stopped as she heard the words. "Are you sure? You are going to let me use your maid?" "Yes, yes." Xiao Xian nodded. Ms. Niu could not help but turn to Ms. Fang, who snorted and looked unwilling, but she said nothing more. Ms. Niu felt slightly better. She snorted. "That is good, you should never break your promise." Ms. Niu would never lose any chance of taking advantage of anything. "Of course not." Xiao Xian said to Lu Yan, "What are you standing here for? Why don't you go home with second Madame Xiao? Listen to her order, otherwise she is going to punish you, got it?" Ms. Niu felt so happy hearing herself being addressed as second Madame Xiao, as if she had already risen higher. She glanced at the maid. "Lu Yan, just follow me." Lu Yan looked at Xiao Xian, bit her lips, and followed Ms. Niu. Lu Yan felt somehow proud inwardly. She believed that Xiao Xian must have been scared by what she said, so she did not dare to do anything to her. So she drove her away, just to hide how humiliated she was. All right then. She could leave. Miss Fang sneered. The maid is going to soon know what kind of hell she is going into. Xiao Xian was not a hard-hearted person, nor was Miss Fang. But they had the right methods to give Lu Yan a hard time. They just did not want to get themselves stuck with too much trouble. Lu Yan would soon know how hellish life could be, when she ended being with someone like Ms. Niu. What was she thinking when she put on a look of who she was? Hearing what Ms. Fang said, Xiao Xian understood that her mother-in-law knew what she was doing. "Mom, you know me well, that maid has to go through some difficulties so that she knows what the world is like." In the afternoon, Xiao Dalong and the others came home for lunch. Xiao Xian helped with dough making and noodle kneading. A while ago at home, Xiao Xian cut chili noodles, shiitake mushrooms, egg skins, pork belly into dices, and fried shrimp, minced garlic, minced green onion, minced ginger, fried peanuts, and put them into a large jar just to mix with noodles. Apart from the noodles, she picked some beans, celery and scallions from the yard. The beans and celery were chopped, blanched in boiling water, whilst scallions were cut into minced green onions as seasonings. When the water was boiled, the noodles were cooked, and scooped up so the vegetables, sauce and sesame oil as well as vinegar were mixed with pickles from the jar. It looked tasty and appetizing. The dish was simple, and the meal made people feel so satisfied. Chapter 197 Balanced. Xianxia picked up some mulberries and plums from the garden, washed them and put them in bamboo baskets for everyone to satisfy their cravings after lunch. She did not work in the field, so she tried her best to let the whole family eat well. But she did not see any cucumbers and she wondered if cucumbers were commonly seen at this time around. Otherwise, she could slice cucumbers and stir the slices with noodles. They would be tasty and fresh. As long as she loved it, she could let the fruit trees grow all kinds of fresh fruits throughout the whole year. But that was not very scientific and she might cause a sensation. At this time, the loquats were already out of season, and there was still a small portion of plums, mulberries, and bayberry. They would go out of season in about 10 days at most. But peaches, grapes, watermelons could be eaten again, then figs, and then pears, dates, and pomegranates would be ripe enough. Eldest uncle was still very angry with Miss Fang. He was wearing a bad look on his face. The whole family had been fed up with the second and third sections of the family during the past few years, and they did not want to slow her down or hold her back when their mother took the lead and protested against it. So no one cared about eldest uncle's look. That made him feel even worse. In silent mutiny, he stopped the work of his own family but went down to the third section of the family to help him. Third section of the family was not giving him a good time. Lulang was someone who worked over a desk, and there were no other sons who worked in the field. Eldest uncle just could not stand that the third section of the family missed the spring plow. But the second section of the family felt very imbalanced in their hearts, thinking that their eldest brother should be fair. He could not just help the third section of the family, but also the second section of the family. Eldest uncle felt very uncomfortable. In his opinion, they were brothers. They just lived separately because they had more and more new people coming to the place. But the whole family was still one. The whole family should stay together, and help each other. As long as they combined forces, they could all have a better life. He really did not think that it was a problem, if his sons worked hard for the other sections of the family. Nephew Lulang was physically weak, and he could not go down and work in the field, so he felt that it was totally normal if he helped out his third brother and his family. But what did his second brother mean, when he had so many helpers? Why must he go and help them? When he refused to, he was considered as not being fair. It was not about fairness. It seemed that the second brother and his family did not understand the idea of being one family. Eldest uncle felt really emotional. He tried to explain to the second section of the family, which made second uncle further irritated. But he stopped when he thought of how his wife got a maid from the first section of the family. Eldest uncle felt better thinking that he had managed to convince his second brother. Look, he understood it. He can see through my ideas. Ms. Fang did not care about her husband working for the third section of the family. He could continue to be there. As long as his own family was on the right track, he could be left alone. They had not been to the town for days, and Xianxia had not hunted in the mountains, so Miss Fang bought some tofu from the wandering sellers. Xianxia made food at night. Tofu was fried in oil and browned on both sides. She was going to make a dish of stir-fried tofu with green peppers and mushrooms. A large catfish was killed, and she stewed it with the sauce which had been mixed with noodles for lunch. 2 more crucian carp were killed, and after the cuts were made, they were wrapped in flour and fried, and then braised. She also made another fresh bamboo shoot soup and 1 dish of fried beans. A table consisting of 5 dishes made a good meal. Chapter 198 One thing left. Eldest uncle was very angry with Miss Fang, so he did not eat at home. Instead, he went to the third section of the family for dinner. Third uncle and Ms. Ma were not very happy about his visit. Ms. Ma even made some implicit remarks, but eldest uncle did not get it. Ms. Ma pursed her lips, mumbling in a small voice that all he did was just offer them some help for half a day, and now he was staying for dinner. Their eldest brother was getting more and more calculative. After many days of work, the spring plow was finally drawing to the end. No one from the first section of the family offered help. Second uncle as well as third uncle failed in their plan of letting Miss Fang's sons help them out. In fact, Miss Fang got more tricky now. She asked her sons to slow down their own labor work, so they did not have any free time to offer anyone else any help. So, after the second and third sections of the family took advantage in getting the rakes made, they would not be called reasonable if they forced Miss Fang and her sons to help with the seedlings also. Feeling helpless, the second and third sections of the family had to ask some people from the village for help so they could finish the spring plow. When they were done with the spring plow, the first section was done with their work as well. The two families got very annoyed. They felt as if they had been set up. They knew clearly by this point that Miss Fang was getting harder to deal with. Spring plow had just passed. Xianxia was getting ready to be married to the family, so the first section of the Xiao family was going to be even busier for the days to come. But there were many helpers in the family, and due to the wedding of Xiao Yunduan and Xiao which took place just a while ago, they were fairly familiar with the arrangement of the wedding this time. Besides, Miss Fang had plenty of money now, and she was more confident and faster in getting everything done. The large and important stuff as well as the new room were all ready. The wedding reception had been well arranged, so was the guest lists. The meat, the vegetables, and everything else was booked. Everyone was waiting for the wedding day to come. Those whom they needed for help were all informed. There was just one thing that remained to be done. Xiao Sanlang was very honest and he treated Xianxia well. When he was done with the spring plow, he told Miss Fang and eldest uncle that he was helping Xianxia and her family out. Xianxia had been complaining to him all the time about what her brother and sister-in-law were like. Xiao Sanlang had heard quite a lot about the couple's behavior as well. Spring plow and autumn harvest were top priorities throughout the year and they were the most tiring errands as well. Yang Liang and his wife were very lazy and loved to eat good food. So, if they took the excuse of the spring plow and tried to ruin the wedding, that would be troublesome. So he just wanted to offer some help to press down the couple, so that he could get the girl home. After the girl came to his home, he would leave the couple alone and care nothing about them anymore. Married girls would always be spilled water, and even a brother could not interfere in his sister's-in-law's family. Actually, Yang Liang and his wife had been very annoyed by the spring plow. Miss Tian kept forcing Xianxia to ask the Xiao family for help, but Xianxia ignored her and did not want to do anything about it. There was one time when she was slapped right on the face without being able to dodge it. As a result, she tripped over and skinned her arm. When third Grandma Yang was helping her put on the medicine, the girl, who had been so broad-minded and optimistic all this while, could not help but burst into tears. She had not yet married, and was being forced to ask her mother-in-law's family to help her brother with labor. What position would she have at her new home in future? How would she be able to face her mother-in-law as well as her sisters-in-law? So, she did not listen to what Miss Tian asked her to do, no matter what Miss Tian said. But it was not so easy to ignore the issue. Third Grandma Yang promised to get involved, only because Miss Fang had given her some gifts earlier. Moreover, she was in the right position to get involved in their family affairs as an elder. Chapter 199. Proud Miss Tian. By this point, she had started to feel sorry for Xianxia. She sighed and consoled her. This girl was lucky after all, because the Xiao family was willing to accept her. When she was married, her life would surely get better. When Xiao Sanlang offered help in the field, he solved all the problems immediately. People in the Yang village expressed their jealousy for Yang Xiani's luck. Some even regretted why they did not go to the Xiao family to ask about marital connection before the Yang family did. The Xiao family is such a good family, that no one else will be able to exceed them. Xiao Sanlang looks quite honest, but he treats Xiaoni so well. When I look carefully, I think he is very good looking. We all say that dumb people have their luck. Look at what young Xiaoni has got. Some were also feeling sour and jealous, and whispered amongst themselves. The Xiao family have to marry her because they already made the offer, otherwise who would want to be married to a family like that? True, Yang Liang and his wife are not easily driven away. They will always make trouble, which no one can stand. I wonder how Miss Fang would treat young Xiaoni when she is married. Miss Fang is a very fierce person. We can't really say that Xianxia is lucky for now. That is true. But no matter what the whispers were like, Xianxia was feeling happy, guilty and moved. She wanted to throw herself to Xiao Sanlang and promised to stay devoted to him thoroughly. Yang Liang and Ms. Tian were also very proud. Ms. Tian did not show any respect towards Xiao Sanlang. She kept buzzing around him, telling him to offer help whenever he could and not to forget about their family later on. But the couple said nothing about Xianxia. Xiao Sanlang ignored and snorted at them as an agreement. They did not care about Xiaoni or what her life would be like, so he would not care about the couple either. He would not have shown up, but for the concern that the couple would change their mind about the wedding. 2 days before Xiao Sanlang's wedding, Qiao Xian, Ms. Su, Xiao Taotao were helping Ms. Fang get ready for Xiao Sanlang's wedding in the afternoon, when a silhouette rushed in suddenly. She threw herself to the ground on her knees, crying at Second Miss and kept kowtowing. Please help me, Second Mississippi. I am sorry for what I have done. I promise that I will do whatever you want me to do, but please, take me back, Second Miss, please. The crying was loud and miserable. Qiao Xian and Ms. Fang as well as everyone else present there got startled. Qiao Xian was curious. Are you Lu Yan? Yes, yes I am. Lu Yan screamed even more loudly. Ms. Fang and the others had their eyes wide open, feeling absolutely shocked. No wonder the whole gang looked as if they had seen a ghost. The girl who was kowtowing in front of them was not like Lu Yan of the past. When Lu Yan first arrived here, she was lazy, arrogant, always well-dressed even though she was not wearing any special makeup. But her hair had always been combed neatly, and she had embroidered shoes as well as a handkerchief with flower patterns. However, this woman in front of them had unkempt hair and was wearing shabby, old clothes with patches, which were apparently too small for her to wear. She was kowtowing so her face was not seen, but she must have suffered a great deal in the recent past. Chapter 200 Revenge. When she was kneeling in front of them, Lu Yan looked totally different. In fact, she resembled a refugee. Ms. Fang suddenly realized what had happened. She snorted slightly and then sneered. Qiao Xian gradually understood too. She cursed inwardly that it served her right. Ms. Niu seemed to have spared no efforts to torment Lu Yan. She must have ripped Lu Yan's clothes and given her what Xiao Meiling had already worn out. It could be seen clearly what life Lu Yan was leading when she was working for the second section of the family. Evil always received revenge. Alright, just stop crying. What rules do you have by crying so loudly in front of your master? Qiao Xian said calmly. Lu Yan's cry stopped suddenly, but she continued to sob. Okay, Second Miss, okay. She was no longer as arrogant as before. Second Miss was going to be her savior. She had realized that it completely depended on Second Miss whether she was going to be rescued from where she was now. Qiao Xian did not want Miss Qiao and the others to see what she looked like currently. So she smiled at Ms. Fang. Mom, this servant doesn't seem to be in a good condition. I will take her somewhere else and ask her what is going on, so that she doesn't dirty the room. Ms. Fang nodded. Okay, do as you want. Then she sneered. It serves her right. She was arrogant, lazy, and always greedy for food. Qiao Xian laughed. True, otherwise she would have continued to assume that everyone is as friendly as our family. Qiao Xian ordered Lu Yan to get up and took her to her wing room. Lu Yan, who had found the wing rooms so terrible earlier, believed that it was her safe bay at this moment. Lu Yan soon kneeled down and cried. Second Miss, please, I am sorry, please take me back. The second section of the family was so horrible that she never wanted to go back there. The first day she arrived there, she was ordered to get changed by Ms. Niu, who said that a servant did not deserve to have such good clothes. But those were not good clothes at all. They were just made of cotton. She had been sneering at them for being so narrow-sighted that they had never seen anything good. She could not help but look down upon Ms. Niu, who slapped her right on the cheek. She felt her ears buzzing, and had to obey whatever Ms. Niu said from then on. Ms. Niu and Xiao Meiling as well as the other members of that family kept ordering her to do all kinds of work, as if they had never ordered anyone before. What was more, she was overloaded with all kinds of housework. It included laundry, cooking, wood chopping, fire starting, dish washing and yard sweeping. Apart from that, she was instructed to serve them tea, do massages, and dig the ground in the yard with a shovel. If she failed to do anything, she would be scaled, beaten and slapped on the face. Just one day before, Xiao Meiling suddenly got annoyed and started to kick her. She was pushed to the ground and constantly kicked, before Xiao Meiling finally stopped. She suffered so terribly that she just could not get up. The moment she got up, Ms. Niu ordered her to start the fire and cook. Moreover, she was starved. She was fed only light porridge every single day. She did not even have a piece of pickle. Ms. Niu said that she was just a slave who deserved nothing more than porridge. Only then did she realize how happy her life had been when she was working for Second Miss, who gave her decent food. She was asked to sleep in the straw pile during the night, and had mosquito bites all over her body. She felt so itchy that she could not fall asleep at all. But that did not excuse her to rest the following day. She had to get up and continue to work. She had never understood how difficult life could be before this. Ms. Niu was very tricky, and kept her eye on her throughout the day. Her room was locked overnight, and she could not escape even if she wanted to. Chapter 201 Different Second Miss Lu Yen found a single chance to escape, so without hesitation, she hurried back to Second Miss home. She would have soon died if she did not escape. Ms. Niu and her whole family were monsters. Lu Yen begged as she cried heavily, expressing how miserable her life had been. She looked so pitiful. There was no change on Xiao Xian's face and she stood there motionlessly. Okay. Xiao Xian interrupted her, after hearing that what Lu Yen said were just repetitions. She sneered. It seems that second aunt-in-law has taught you a good lesson. Now you are more prudent than before. Lu Yen stiffened as she felt a streak of coldness flashing across her heart. She started to shiver. She gasped, and uttered no words. Xiao Xian sneered. I will bring you back to the Qiao family on the 15th day of August, but what are you going to tell Madame Qiao and Qiao Wei? Lu Yen was both happy and scared inwardly. It was not yet June and the 15th day of August was already so far away. But Lu Yen did not dare to counter her any more. Instead, she said politely, I will not say anything bad about you, never. Oh, really? Xiao Xian sneered and said calmly, but you will be out of my reach by that point. How can I trust you? Or, what can you give me so that I can trust you? Lu Yen was startled. I really won't. Second Miss, please believe me. Those are just bags of wind. Xiao Xian said coldly, you think I am soft-hearted and will answer to your request just because you beg me? You think that I am like before? Lu Yan's heart skipped a beat. She did not dare to look up when her thoughts were seen through. What on earth had her elder miss entrusted her to do? What made the second miss change so much? She had thought that just because she was given by Madame Qiao an elder miss, second miss would not do anything to her, and would even hail her to the sky. But now, it seemed that her dream of dominating the Xiao family had already broken, and one single farmer's wife had nearly driven her to death. She had told Ms. Niu and her family that she was given by Madame Qiao to the second miss, but Ms. Niu snapped. So, you are working for my niece daughter-in-law? Well then, she allows me to order you around, and so I shall. That made her totally speechless and helpless. She did not dare to say that she was the spy, otherwise she would have been killed. Xiao Xian snorted. I have to get a bargaining chip from you, right? Lu Yen suddenly felt that something bad was going to happen. She said in a shivering voice, Second Miss, just, tell me what you need, listen carefully, I want you to curse Madame Qiao and Qiao Wei, and I will write every word on the paper, and you need to make an imprint, sealing it. If you dare to say anything bad about me in the future, I will present the note to Qiao Wei. Even if she revealed some secrets to Qiao Wei, she would not forgive her when she heard something bad about her. Secondly, I want to hear 3 terrible things that Qiao Wei has done in secret, and I will write them down for you to put a thumbprint on as well. Thirdly, I want you to swear on your life and future that you will never reveal anything about me after you leave this village. Chapter 202 Bad Luck. Fourthly, get 1 handkerchief of yours and give it to me. You should have a few in your luggage, right? Xianxia said as she rolled up her sleeve and checked her arm. After a moment, she put it down and checked the other. She smiled. You have 1 black mole close to your left shoulder. I will bear that in mind. If you dare to set me up, I will hand over your handkerchief and tell the position of the mole to the hooligans in the town, who may use this information to get you to become their wife. Do you think that they will refuse such an opportunity? As long as someone holds the evidence and says that you and he are in a relationship, do you think that Madame Qiao will defend you or hand you out to the hooligans? The more she said, the paler Lu Yan became. When she was done, Lu Yan let out a cry and collapsed on the ground. Her heart was throbbing and she was in such a fright that she could not even get up. She leveled a frightened look at Xianxia, feeling shocked. She had lost the last hope. This was not the obedient second miss she knew of, this second miss was evil. Xianxia smiled as she looked at her calmly. You can either say yes or no to me. Accordingly, I will know if I should either send you back to my second aunt-in-law's home. So, choose well. Xianxia had no choice but to utter such harsh conditions. Lu Yan's contract was not in her hands. The moment she returned to the Qiao family, she would tell all kinds of stories about her. Hence, Xianxia could not just believe her vows, she needed to gather all kinds of proofs to prevent this girl from harming her. Otherwise, the moment Qiao Wei learned about the real side of hers, she would never leave her alone. She was not in a position to fight against Qiao Wei. It would not work even if she found an excuse to keep Lu Yan for the mid-autumn day. That would make Qiao Wei feel that something was wrong and she would refuse to stop spying on her. Lu Yan collapsed totally. She sobbed, shivering. I will do whatever you say, please. Second miss. She had no other choice. Xianxia smiled. Good, you are teachable. Don't worry, I have no interest in your Madame Qiao, Elder Miss Qiao and you. As long as we live separate lives like in the past, then all would be fine. Qiao Wei doesn't necessarily need to know what I am like, and I can always lie to her, right? Don't be so nervous. Yes, she was very nervous, but there was nothing else she could do. Xianxia did not think that Lu Yan would dare do anything bad after all of this. This was a good guarantee for her and the Xiao family to live a leisurely, free life. Tidy up, boil the water in the kitchen and take a bath. Get changed and then, we will sign the deal. Xianxia left after saying this. Lu Yan collapsed with her hands over her chest, struggling to get up from the floor. She was having such a miserable time. Xianxia came to Xiao Yunduan and narrated the whole thing to him. She needed Xiao Yunduan to write the agreement, since she was not so good at it. Moreover, Xiao Yunduan was the only person that had the right skills. Qiao Wei has Lu Yan's contract, so this is the only thing I can do to keep down Lu Yan. You won't think that I am too ruthless, right? Chapter 203 Ms. Fang alone. Xianxia felt a bit anxious. She did not want Xiao Yunduan and the Xiao family to consider her as evil. She was an innocent person, and expected to live a peaceful, leisurely life. Evil and ruthless? Xiao Yunduan did not know what to say. His wife must have gotten a wrong idea of what ruthlessness meant. You are gentle enough, but she is already frightened, right? Xianxia was surprised, but soon she replied with a smile. Yes. She is so timid and dumb, what I said was enough to frighten her. Xiao Yunduan smiled. Then that is good. Lu Yan was just boiling water in the kitchen, when Ms. Niu came to the door. Are you at home, fifth niece-in-law? Lu Yan, who was already so good at boiling water in the kitchen, almost collapsed on her knees hearing the voice. She was really scared. Xianxia knew exactly what Ms. Niu was doing here. But Lu Yan already received enough lessons and she was not going to allow Ms. Niu to take her away again. She was her maid, and Ms. Niu had just borrowed her for a couple of days. Ms. Niu was very displeased right now when Xianxia wanted to take her back, but there was nothing she could do. Most importantly, there was nothing she dared to do. Miss Fang could drive her away to start with. Ms. Niu made some complaints about how lazy and greedy Lu Yan was whilst working for her, before she left the place with an unconvinced heart. Lu Yan let out a sigh of relief in the kitchen, feeling alive again. Qiao Xian and Xiao Yunduan soon got the agreement ready. Lu Yan shivered badly but she had to cooperate. Qiao Xian was satisfied when she had the bargaining chip ready in her hand. Alright, just stay here and work for me. If you dare betray me, I will bring you down with me. Scared, Lu Yan shook her head and her hands trembled. No, I want. Lu Yan soon became very diligent. She chopped wood, swept the floor and started the fire without even being asked. She wanted to take over all kinds of work. She was suddenly so proactive. Qiao Xian watched the whole thing calmly, but Miss Fang pursed her lips, not feeling so good towards that maid. This maid was a bitch, who had yielded after being disciplined by Ms. Niu. The following day was Xiao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni's wedding. At lunchtime, Xiao Xiaoqi came from outside cheerfully, telling everyone that he had set 3 traps in the place a couple of days ago where wild boars might appear. When he went into the mountains and took a look around, he saw a large-sized wild boar in the trap. It was too heavy for him to carry. So he came home to fetch some helpers. Mom, the wild boar is really big. It weighs at least 100 kilograms. There will be one more kind of dish served at the wedding tomorrow. Xiao Xiaoqi was so happy about it. So was the whole family. Xiao Sanlang was so thrilled that he returned an excited greeting. Brother, thank you so much. It is going to be great. You are welcome, third brother. Everyone would like to have a flourishing wedding. Xiao Sanlang had a lot of savings and knew that his mother had some too, but the money was earned without letting their father know, so they could not spend it in front of everyone. Fifth brother had just held his wedding, and the cost was very high. So, if they spent too much on another wedding, the situation would look obviously suspicious. That would not be good. They had the savings, and they could use it slowly for their own pleasure, which was beneficial, and full of pleasure. But a wild boar was another issue. That wild boar weighed more than 100 kilograms. It should be a big thing. Chapter 204 Good luck. Hence, he fetched some villagers to carry the wild boar home. The second and the third section of the family also went to help. If they refused to offer some assistance, they might not be given any share in the meat later. Xiao Erlang and Xiao Sailang both went to help, as did second uncle and third uncle who wanted to check what was going on. The two families got so jealous. Why was a wild boar caught at this time? They would not be given much meat when the wild boar was caught at this moment. They would have received dozens of kilos at any other time of the year. Ms. Ma pursed her lips. She must have done this on purpose, right? In the afternoon, the wild boar was carried home, and many villagers came to the house to watch it, saying that the first section of the Xiao family was so lucky to have gotten a wild boar on this occasion. It was perfect for the wedding to take place the next day. They became even more cheerful when they thought that they could have a taste of the meat here. With the help from the villagers, the wild boar was quickly disemboweled, chopped and broken down into pieces. It was very cold in the mountains, and the meat was so fresh. Even after one night, the meat would still remain good. Miss Fang was very generous. She gave 1 kilo of meat to every helper. She gave 1 5 kilograms to the second and the third section of the family, as well as a pig foot for each family. Of course, they wanted to have it all. Ms. Niu even tried to sneak one into her bag, but she was spotted by Xiao Taotao, who screamed. "What are you doing, second aunt?" Xiao Taotao's scream drew everyone's attention. Ms. Fang sneered inwardly and asked Ms. Su and Xiao Taotao to put away the meat on the board, saying with a smile, "Second sister-in-law, thank you for trying to help, but we can put everything away ourselves. Just go home and rest, so you can come and help us with the wedding on the following day." They had to help with the wedding, otherwise they would be blamed. The first section of the family did not care about their help, but she still asked for it. Ms. Niu said timidly, okay, I know." She sneaked a look at Xiao Taotao, and turned around. Ms. Niu mumbled inwardly, cursing the girl for being so bold nowadays. She never dared to counter her in the past. She was so angry. It was never easy to deal with the inner organs, which required a lot of seasonings, so the other families were not interested in the task. But Xiao Xian's cooking skills in dealing with inner organs were all approved by the family. Xiao Xian did not disappoint them either. She made a table full of good dishes in the evening. The pork liver was cut into small pieces, and marinated with various seasonings. Then, the slices were wrapped in net oil into egg-sized pieces, and slowly fried in the oil pan. This kind of dish required a lot of effort, but the end result was very tasty. When it was fried, the smell was so good that Xiao Xian asked Xianxia, Xiao Taotao, and her niece and nephew to fry and eat at the same time. The dinner was warm and fresh, salty and fragrant. The pork loin was stir-fried with garlic sprouts and green peppers, and the large intestine was still stir-fried with pickles such as sour, spicy and crispy radish and beans. The pig's trotters were stewed first, and then put in the pot to make a sweet and sour dish. Chapter 205 Shameless. This soup was used to cook processed pig heart, pig blood, small intestine, pig stomach, and pig liver. Chopped garlic sprouts, shallots, and ginger pieces were added to cook a large bowl of delicious and rich hodgepodge. Xiao Xian processed every piece very carefully and even washed them with flour. She put in a lot of rice wine, star anises, gingers, peppers, so there was no strange smell in the end. The wild boar was so large, and the inner organs could not be finished in just one dinner. So, Xiao Xian asked Ms. Su to cut them into slices, deep fry them and stew with chilies so that a jar of chili sauce could be preserved for 8 or 10 days. There was one big pig head that was roasted over fire, and dried in the shadow for future braising. Early the next morning, the first section of the Xiao family got very busy. Miss Fang had everything arranged neatly, so things went on smoothly. Xiao Xian's job was to help Miss Fang in receiving relatives and getting to know them, whilst checking and urging those helpers from the second and third section of the family to work harder in case they messed things up. Xiao Xian was pleased with the task and nodded happily. Xiao Xian did not allow Lu Yan to show up on wedding day. She was ordered to stay in the wing room. A lot of helpers were asked to give a helping hand at the wedding, so they had plenty of labor forces. Lu Yan was a ticking bomb that should not show up in public. Lu Yan was very interested in watching the wedding of a village, but Xiao Xian did not allow her to do so, and she did not dare to counter the order. She had already understood what Second Miss could do, so she did not object. Second Miss did not even need to do anything about her personally. All she would do was to throw her to the second section of the family, and she would be engulfed in endless misery. Dressed in a red robe, Xiao Sanlang the groom smiled stupidly. He went to the Yang family to fetch his bride. He was riding on the donkey, surrounded by the reception team. Xiao Dalong, Xiao Yunduan, Xiao Xiaoqi as well as the sons from the second section of the family and young men from the village all tagged along. Xiao Lulang did not show up. According to third uncle, he was working very hard in college and should not be distracted. After all, he had made plenty of progress and did not want to be disturbed. Eldest uncle understood it completely. Being able to read was very important, because it was related to what the future would look like for them. Miss Fang snorted and rolled her eyes. It was just an excuse. It did not take much effort to attend a wedding. Even the emperor was not as busy as he was. He must feel humiliated to come over. Yunduan was already a cultivated talent, yet he was nothing more than a disciple. He was afraid of being compared. He would have still come over, if Yunduan's wife was not the daughter of the county magistrate. Miss Fang thought that her husband was so stupid that believed what third uncle said. Yang Xiani's wedding gown was delivered by a messenger from Miss Fang's side. It was delivered directly to third Grandma Yang's home, so she could help Yang Xiaoni get dressed on the wedding day. When third Grandma Yang, together with some relatives, brought the gown to her home, Miss Tian's face sank. Miss Tian knew clearly that she was the one that they were trying to hide from. Yang Xiaoni was finally moving out of home as a bride, with the help of third Grandma Yang and the other relatives. But Miss Tian kept crying loudly. She kept saying that she and her husband had spent so much effort in raising Yang Xiaoni and helped her get married by finding a good family. Her point was that Yang Xiaoni should come home often enough to visit her brother and sister-in-law. Chapter 206. Not an easy deal. Hearing those words, Yang Liang did feel a bit moved and could not help but rub his eyes. The couple's behavior disgusted the whole audience. Despite the disgusted feelings, the members from the Yang family could not help but tell her to stay assured. However, Xiao Sanlang did not restrain himself and embarrassed Ms. Tian and Yang Liang, seeing that his wife was already in the litter. Brother, sister-in-law. Xiao Sanlang said with a smile, I feel so moved that you treat Xiaoni well. Kindly show us the dowry, so we can go to do the ceremony. We can't miss the right hour, can we? Suddenly silence dominated the whole place. Ms. Tian, who was shedding tears, burst out. There is no dowry. You told us that we did not have to offer any dowry. You are breaking the promise. Xiao Sanlang rolled his eyes in an exaggerated way and said mockingly, we did say so, but we thought that you care about Xiaoni so much that you are crying so hard and are willing to push the dowry into her hands. Ha 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 ha. Ah ha ha ha. The villagers who were watching the show could not help but chuckle, so did the reception team, who laughed along. Both Yang Liang and Ms. Tian were thoroughly embarrassed. Ms. Tian glared at Xiao Sanlang and showed no expression of unwillingness to let her sister-in-law go. Xiao Sanlang felt much better seeing her showing the real look. He added. So, are you giving us the dowry or not? You love Xiaoni, don't you? You can show some sincerity after all. Annoyed, Yang Liang snapped. We are too poor to offer you any dowry. Xiao Sanlang laughed. Well, it depends on whether you have the intention. You can give us the money if you have it. If you are too poor to give us any money, you can offer a wardrobe, a table, a basin, or a bucket made from the trees in the mountains. We won't turn any of it down. Seeing how you are dressed, you don't look that poor either. Yang Liang was stuck with words. He glared at Xiao Sanlang, just as Ms. Tian did. Any poor family would at least offer some garments or furniture to the married daughter, if they really loved her. Ms. Tian and Yang Liang were a rarely seen set of family. The Xiao family did not care about the dowry, as they already said that they did not need any. But it was annoying when the family offered nothing whilst pretending to play the drama that they loved the bride. It was disgusting. How could they get away with a cheap deal of wanting to keep both reputation and stuff as well? Xiao Sanlang was a down-to-earth person, but he could not stand being disgusted to this level. Seeing that the purpose was almost achieved, Xiao Yunduan said, Third brother, let's leave, we should not miss the right hour. Xiao Sanlang chuckled. Okay, let's go. Without even looking at Yang Liang and Ms. Tian, the team took off. The villagers from the Yang family exchanged a look between themselves and also left. The couple was thoroughly humiliated. But it served them right, since they were the ones who tried to take advantage of others first. Chapter 207 Grudge. Yang Liang and his wife became so annoyed that they slapped the door shut. I am so annoyed, so annoyed. The Xiao family are behaving over the top. I am definitely going to take revenge. Miss Tian was so irritated that she kept crying loudly. Some nosy villagers understood that Miss Tian would hold a grudge over the matter. So they leaned against the door of Yang Liang's home and listened. Miss Tian, who was irritated beyond measure, kept cursing. After a while, the listeners rolled their eyes, snapped disdainfully and shared the gossip with the fellow villagers. It was a bustling scene at the first section of the Xiao family at this moment. They were not affected by the Yang family at all. Miss Fang was a very cautious, economic person. She added some money so that the wedding looked really good. The melon seeds, peanuts and tea were constantly served. The dried fruits were a little expensive, but Miss Fang did not want the dried fruits to stand out, so she refilled the box every third hour. 4 kinds of dried fruits were bought, namely preserved apricots, candied dates, hawthorn cake, green and red fruit slices. All of them were so popular that they were eaten up the moment they were served. Xianxia followed Miss Fang to greet relatives and friends. Everyone knew about her identity, and many had attended her wedding. But she was a prestigious presence in front of the villagers, who could not help but glance at her again and again. She was very friendly, and no one could find a fault in her. Instead, they found her different from many ladies in the village. They whispered to each other, saying that she was polite, friendly, and behaved well, and also that she looked so pretty and had a special air around her. In the end, they could not help but conclude that the daughter of Officer Qiao was indeed outstanding. There was even a sense of faint jealousy. The first section of the Xiao family was really lucky and was definitely going to get richer. Xiao Yunduan was already the cultivated talent. Moreover, he was the son-in-law of Officer Qiao, so his future was definitely going to be promising with such a father-in-law behind his back. The guests, who heard those words, felt sour and emotional. They were all friends and relatives and kept giving compliments to the Xiao family on this happy day. Only Ms. Ma felt aggrieved inside her heart. Xiao Yunduan was just lucky, that was all. Soon her son was going to be more skilled and knowledgeable than Xiao Yunduan. It was just that he got sick during the examination, so that Xiao Yunduan took his place. But for Xiao Yunduan's success of becoming cultivated talent and saving Officer Qiao's daughter, he would not have gotten a wife like this. If her own son became the cultivated talent, then Xiao Yunduan would be nothing. So even if Xiao Yunduan saved Xianxia, Officer Qiao would not have married his daughter to him. She even imagined the scene of accepting her, for the sake of Officer Qiao, and she would have taught her to behave well. If only such a thing had happened. If they could get related to the Qiao family, her son would definitely get promoted and she would be in full charge of Xianxia's generous dowry. Moreover, she would even be invited as a guest at the county magistrate's home during all kinds of festivals, and maybe, would have shared a meal with her daughter-in-law's family. She would have gotten to know many noble families, who would always come handy as useful connections for them in the future. Chapter 208 Out of dream. In this way, her own family would have flourished as well. Ms. Ma found her dream getting more and more realistic. The more realistic it seemed, the more annoyed she felt about the truth she had to face, when she realized where she was at the moment. Seeing that Ms. Fang was not within sight, Ms. Ma suddenly thought of an idea. Ms. Ma went to those relatives and friends who did not seem to get on well with Ms. Fang, and started to reveal some secrets about Ms. Fang. She did not dare to say anything about Xianxia, since she was in a high position. No one from the village had any idea of how Xianxia was actually treated at home. But she dared to say something about Ms. Fang. She just favors this daughter-in-law of hers. Look at Ms. Su, who has to work so hard from early morning. She has to do laundry, sweeping the floor, chopping, carrying water, starting a fire, and cooking. After she makes breakfast, she has to go into the fields for heavy labor. She is so busy every single day. But look at Ms. Qiao, she needs to do nothing. It is only because Ms. Qiao has money. She is definitely going to take hold of the dowry of Miss Qiao. This Miss Qiao is so stupid as to still defend her and respect her as if she were her own mother. You know how much they offered to Sanlang for him to get the wife? 20 liang. Since when did they get so generous? They have just hosted Wang's wedding and now they are able to give 20 liang to the Yang family. Everyone knows where the money is coming from. But they don't want to loan any money to us, even though they are living a luxurious life. They are so hard-hearted. Just wait and see, when Sanlang's wife moves in, the new daughter-in-law will definitely be very unhappy about her mother-in-law's blatant preference towards Miss Qiao. Dalong is very honest, and doesn't dare to utter a word when his wife is bullied, but Sanlang is different. Those aunts' biggest pastime was to gossip about the family relationships of different families. They were most fascinated by how those family disputes were conducted. Since they felt a bit jealous about the first section of the Xiao family, and did not like Ms. Fang much, they were all excited to hear what Ms. Ma told them. So the whole group got together and gossiped vigorously, with their eyes sparkling. But Xiao Xian caught every word spoken even though she was standing far away. Disgusted, Xiao Xian told herself inwardly that this third aunt-in-law of hers had again lost her control of her tongue, despite being disciplined by her mother-in-law just a while ago. Did she think that her words would separate her and her mother-in-law, or that her elder brother and her elder sister-in-law would be dissatisfied with her? Did she think that she could break down her family? Well, she was dreaming. Elder brother was an obedient and honest person, and she could easily buy elder sister-in-law. Third brother was a broad-minded person and she had met his wife, Xianxia, who seemed to be generous as well. Her family would get increasingly better, and she did not think that anything bad would happen. Third aunt-in-law. Xiao Xian smiled and stepped forward. What are you talking about? I am interested in listening to it too. What are you doing here? Ms. Ma got startled seeing Xiao Xian coming over all of a sudden. People who gossip behind people's backs always felt guilty. Xiao Xian blinked and smiled. I seem to hear that you are talking about me and Mom. So, I also want to hear your story in detail. Chapter 209 One meal or two. Mom also likes listening to your talks, third aunt-in-law. What about getting her here to listen to your story too? Ms. Ma had no idea how much Xiao Xian had heard, and her face changed. But she did not admit that she had talked badly about them, so she forced a smile. Your mom is busy today, there is no need to fetch her here. It is fine. Xiao Xian smiled. Mom can arrange everything well, neatly, and properly. My elder sister-in-law is capable too, and she helps our mother relieve a lot of burden. Mom is not at all busy. The relatives were very afraid of Miss Fang, but they did not seem to be scared about the young Xiao Xian. Someone said half-jokingly, it seems that your elder sister-in-law is very tired with a lot of work, why not help her? Wouldn't she protest against you for not being able to help her? Everyone laughed. True, wouldn't she feel annoyed? Xiao Xian smiled. Elder sister-in-law is very capable, of course she won't say any such thing. I have just bought dozens of mu of land, and planted many things. But I don't have any knowledge about how to plant those things, so I hired elder brother, elder sister-in-law, and third brother to help me, paying them 30 yen a day. We will be planting some more mushrooms soon, and they will have to help me again. What? 31? That is too much. The relatives' eyes widened. They suddenly realized why Miss Su had no opinion against Xiao Xian's behavior. The couple could earn 60 yen a day, which even though did not come every single day, but Xiao Xian's land needed to be taken care of on a regular basis, and every time she required help, she paid them. Moreover, they were not living separately yet, so what she harvested from the land would also be shared. Oh man, she was so rich. With so much money coming to them, they would definitely ignore small things like dishwashing or floor sweeping. All the relatives became so jealous and motivated that they started to treat Xiao Xian nicely. Xiao Xian smiled as she talked about how excellent Miss Fang and Miss Su were. Ms. Ma's face turned pale while she stood next to them. Xiao Xian sneered inwardly. But for third brother's wedding that took place today, she was definitely going to pass on this message to her mother-in-law, who would again teach Ms. Ma a lesson. She needed to be disciplined many times until she finally understood what she ought to do and what not. She would eventually understand, after she was taught the lesson enough times. Soon the reception team arrived, and the atmosphere became lively. They cheered, laughed, and played around. It was a cheerful scene. The couple went through the process and the kitchen got busy again. The scent that came from the dishes caused people to drool. Everyone got very excited and looked forward to the wild boar meat at the banquet. There were 8 dishes being served at the wedding banquet. Normally, only 2 meat dishes were served due to the poverty. But today, the dishes were more than good. The dishes included roasted chicken with mushrooms, stewed meat with dried beans, fried wild boar with green pepper and garlic sprouts, roasted tofu, yam fungus, fried bean and eggplant with minced meat, tofu and cabbage soup, which was boiled with wild boar bones and trotters for a long time, so a large pot of broth was produced. There was a bowl of 8 treasure rice too. Xiao Xian had thought about serving a dish of braised fish, but Miss Fang did not think that the chief cook would be able to do the dish. Moreover, the dish required too much oil and a bone might get stuck in some child's throat, making it troublesome. Therefore, they gave up the idea. Chapter published at 4th of April 2023 6:28 and 34 seconds AM. Chapter 210, 210 Greedy Xiao Yunduan. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. 210 Greedy Xiao Yunduan. Xiao Xian complimented Miss Fang for being considerate and dropped the idea of making the dish. When the banquet was served, everyone gobbled down the dishes and emptied everything. Xiao Xian realized that Miss Fang had been totally right. The villagers barely had a chance to eat meat, and those with some money would at most eat meat once or twice a month, never over 3 times. So when the banquet was served in the village, they never stopped themselves from eating as much as they could. When the meat dishes were served, the guests went up and kept putting the dishes into their bowls, and started to relish them slowly. Some did not even want to finish them totally, but took some home. The wedding was held really successfully. The 3 bowls of meat dishes contained plenty of meat and only a small amount of side vegetable dishes. Meat was seen in other dishes too, apart from tofu and yam dishes. The guests were really satisfied by the food and the bowls were all emptied, leaving nothing behind, not even the soup. When the last batch of guests was seen off, the things borrowed for the wedding were returned. The whole family ate along with the helpers, who left after dinner. The day did not come to an end until they tidied up everything. It was already quite late. Xiao Xian did not do much labor work, but she felt quite tired, let alone Miss Fang and Miss Qiao. After she washed herself up, she felt relaxed and started to yawn. She felt so sleepy. I am so sleepy. I need to go to bed now, she yawned widely. With her eyes half opened, she greeted Xiao Yunduan and pulled the blanket over her, before falling asleep immediately. Standing by the bedside, Xiao Yunduan looked at her face and felt a bit dizzy in his head. It was like a dream. It had been just 2 months since his own wedding was held, and at that time, he was not feeling so relaxed, nor was she. Moreover, he remembered how the suicide took place on their wedding night. But he had not expected that he and she lived such a good life since that point. He had also not expected that her arrival brought tremendous changes to the family. It was just 2 months, but for him, it seemed like a lifetime. It felt that he was used to having her at home and in his room, next to him when he laid down. Xiao Yunduan suddenly felt a bit greedy, as the emotions hit him hard. He believed that if they could live on like this, life would not be that bad either. Early the next morning, young Xiaoni served the tea to the family and addressed each member of the family with a new title. From that moment on, the whole family accepted her formally. Young Xiaoni was very diligent and did not need to be told to do the work properly. Miss Fang smiled brightly. She would have definitely thrown a fit, if she paid so much and was still humiliated by a daughter-in-law who was lazy and greedy. She was the mother-in-law and she could discipline any daughter-in-law who annoyed her. At this time, the taro, corn, soybeans, peanuts in the fields needed to be weeded, and the bamboo forests needed to be taken care of a little, so Xiao Dalong and Ms. Su went into the field for work. Young Xiaoni was used to doing labor work, so even if she had just gotten married, she was not used to idling around at home. She fetched Xiao Sanlang and took him to the field for work as well. Chapter 211. Two dumb people. Miss Fang said, "It is fine, take a break at home for now and start work in a couple of days." She was not a strict mother-in-law who kept tormenting her daughter-in-law. She had just gotten married and Miss Fang did not need her at the moment. Miss Su feared that with young Xiaoni being at home, Xiao Xian would not ask her to join them for work. So she said with a smile, "Mom, what about asking third brother and third sister-in-law to do work in the field along with us, so we can finish our work soon enough to go work for fifth sister-in-law? She has a lot for us to deal with." Miss Fang was startled. Oh well, Xiao Xian did have a lot of work which needed to be done. She had told Miss Fang everything, but not everyone present was aware about it. Xiao Xian did not want other villagers to know about this money-earning thing, so she always hired her own family members to do the work, which Miss Fang approved of. Xiao Xian did not expect that Miss Su would say something like this. She smiled. "Mom, elder sister-in-law, I am fine. We don't have to hurry up." She was not in a frenzy because the business with lipsticks was a long-term thing, and she had just made the amount that was needed. Mushroom planting could also wait for now because she needed to find some more kinds of mushrooms in the mountains. Mushrooms and wooden ears were easy to find because she had the superpower, which could help her see every tiny thing in that broad, wide place. But snow fungus was rarely seen and needed to be searched with some effort. Moreover, sometimes, luck was required as well. As long as she found the seed, she could simply urge them to grow by the virtue of her superpower. Xiao Sanlang's eyes sparkled, and he smiled. "Mom, elder sister-in-law is right. Let's get our work done as soon as possible, Xiaomi is not that weak." Then he turned to young Xiaoni and whispered. "Fifth sister-in-law is very generous. She pays each worker 30 won a day. We can save money to buy something good in the town." Young Xiaoni's eyes sparkled too. "Really? That's great." These two dumb people thought that they were whispering, but Miss Qiao and Miss Fang caught their conversation clearly. Xiao Xian laughed but pretended not to have heard anything. Miss Fang ignored them furiously and glared at Xiao Sanlang. "Okay, just do whatever you want." She was not going to force her daughter-in-law to take a break and not to work. Xiao Sanlang nodded and he left for work with his wife cheerfully. Xiao Xian smiled. "Mom, just let Lu Yan do the work, you should take a break too, you have worked too hard these days." Miss Fang stopped being annoyed and smiled. Okay, you are so considerate. Just go and take the break. I owe you big for your third brother's wedding." Xiao Xian felt warm in heart and smiled. "Mom, we are a family, don't mention it. Let me make lunch and dinner. I will create something delicious." Miss Fang sneered. "No need. You can make it tomorrow. Just let Miss Su and Ms. Yang cook tonight. Your second uncle and third uncle's families will be here for dinner, and they don't deserve to eat your food." She did not want them to start visiting them often for dinner, after they tasted her dishes. Miss Fang had already planned what dishes to serve tonight. Xiao Xian nodded in understanding. True, as long as the two families were far away from them. Chapter 212. Rest. Hence, she could skip making food tonight with ease. Feeling tired, Xiao Xian returned to her own room. Xiao Yunduan was writing articles, which were going to be presented to the teachers at the school and fellow classmates for communication. Xiao Xian did not hurry onto the bed when she walked in. Instead, she came to his side and helped him grind the ink. She was just thinking how she could tell him that she needed to take a break, when Xiao Yunduan looked up at her and said, "You worked so hard yesterday, you must be feeling very tired, go and take a break." Qiao Xian had not expected this sentence to come so easily, so she felt very happy. But she replied in a friendly way. "That is not good." Xiao Yunduan thought that she was worried about being scolded by the family, so he said, "Don't worry, I will not tell Mom about this, just go and sleep." Qiao Xian. What straightforward words. Well, it made people feel assured. Qiao Xian laughed and accepted the offer. "Ah, yes, I am feeling very tired. Let me take a break, you can inform me when you step out." Xiao Yunduan nodded. "I will tell you when it is time for lunch." Feeling assured, Qiao Xian thanked her husband and threw herself onto bed. She rolled over in the blanket, relaxed with 4 limbs open, and soon fell asleep. Her breath was steady and she had fallen into deep sleep. Xiao Yunduan turned around subconsciously and saw the long, smooth raven hair on the pillow. He could not help but feel his heart soften. He showed a gentle look. He felt comfortable and happy, especially when they spent the time together in the room, even while doing nothing. Miss Fang hid the leftovers from the banquet before someone could steal it. 1 bowl of chicken, 1 bowl of tofu and 1 slice of meat were enough for dinner tonight. They had made steamed buns for lunch. The steamed buns were simple but very tasty, and when eaten with the chili sauce made by Qiao Xian with pig liver, heart and belly, it would be delicious when eaten with porridge. When Miss Su returned at lunchtime, they started to eat and Yang Xiaoni felt moved to be able to eat so much food. Yang Xiaoni was bowled over by what Qiao Xian had made. She said that she could do any kind of work as long as she could eat the chili sauce made by the 5th sister-in-law. The whole family laughed. Xiao Taotao smiled proudly. 3rd sister-in-law, 5th sister-in-law makes great food. You wait and see the dishes she makes. Qiao Xian smiled. I will take a break tonight but will make some more tomorrow. Xiao Sanlang, Xiao Xiaoqi, and Xiao Taotao cheered her on. Eldest uncle could not help but look up. We are hosting a family dinner tonight, Miss Qiao. You can make some dishes then. Eldest uncle had to admit that Xiao Xian cooked great food though he was not very satisfied with her. She could make some good dishes for the family dinner to bring up the reputation. In this way, the 2nd section of the family and 3rd section of the family could have a taste of what she was capable of. Miss Fang rolled her eyes and said coldly, Miss Qiao has been working very hard these days and she is too tired to do any more work. She is taking a break tonight. Chapter 213 Good Xiao Yunduan added immediately. True. Dad, she can make food in the future. I am sure that 2nd aunt as well as 3rd aunt would very much like to taste food made by the 3rd sister-in-law. It was a custom that new brides made a table of dishes for the seniors in the family. Yang Xiaoni got nervous suddenly. Dad, Mom, I will definitely try my best. She was not very good at cooking, but she could make palatable food. Miss Fang smiled. Don't worry, just do as you did back home. Eldest uncle was stuck in words too. It was true that his new daughter-in-law should make food for tonight, and he had nothing against that. Miss Su and Yang Xiaoni returned home from the field very early because they had to prepare for dinner. Miss Fang told Yang Xiaoni and Miss Su what they should do, so they followed the instructions. Yang Xiaoni was used to bitter days, so when she saw how Miss Su filtered the rice, she felt very satisfied seeing a pot full of rice. She asked her voluntarily. Do we make rice in this way? Don't we add any kidney beans or mung beans? Yang Xiaoni drooled, seeing pure rice in the pot. Back at home, she barely got to eat any rice. Either she ate porridge or rice with beans. Miss Su sounded proud as she grinned. No need, we don't lack rice or flour, and we eat such rice every single day. Soon, you will know why. Really? Yang Xiaoni's eyes widened. She could not believe what she had heard. Ms. Su laughed. Of course. Fifth sister-in-law knows how to make money, and she will help us make a lot of money too. Soon, you will know. The fifth sister-in-law was not very good at doing heavy labor, and when their fifth brother became an officer in the future, she would never go down into the field again. She had dozens of fields for lipsticks, herbs and mushrooms, and she would need laborers. So Ms. Su was well aware that they would have a lot of money to earn soon. Every time fifth sister-in-law made money, she gave some for the shared savings as well. So they did not lack money at home. They had plenty of rice, flour and meat which they ate often. It seemed that they had taken advantage of fifth sister-in-law and the shared savings. Ms. Su did not want to share too many details with young Xianxia yet. She had her own ideas and was not as easygoing as Tao Tao. As of now, she definitely trusted the fifth sister-in-law more than young Xianxia. If she told young Xianxia everything, she would have no advantage at all. As far as she could tell, young Xianxia is an honest person, who was easily satisfied by food, just like their third brother. That was wonderful. The meat dishes for dinner included a bowl of chicken, pork tofu and one slice of wild boar. Some mushrooms, bamboos, pickles, eggplants and green peppers were added as the vegetable dishes. That would be enough. Miss Fang did not kill any chicken. She just added one dish of scallions with fried egg, and a bowl of wolfberry sprout soup with eggs. When young Xiaomi and Ms. Su were busy cooking in the kitchen, the second and third section of the family arrived. Young Xiaomi's family were horrible, and the second and third sections of the family were laughing at Miss Fang behind her back, thinking that she had indulged Xiao Sanlang too much, because of which such a horrible marriage had been established. Young Xiaomi had seduced Xiao Sanlang because she thought she was pretty. For her, marrying Xiao Sanlang was a fortunate thing. But Miss Fang approved of the marriage despite her family background. Chapter 2:14 Message. They were waiting to see what life was going to be like for the first section of the family henceforth. Therefore, both sections of the family seemed to be in a good mood. They were waiting to see a ridiculous show, rather than feel jealous and annoyed. Ever since Ms. Ma was caught red-handed by Qiao Xian when she bad-mouthed them at the wedding, she was very worried that Qiao Xian would point this out to her in front of Ms. Fang, and be disciplined by her. Therefore, Ms. Ma did not dare to say anything. Since Ms. Niu was alone, she could not hold a conversation on her own. So the dinner went on peacefully, and no big fuss was made. The following day, Ms. Su and young Xiaomi went into the field for work. After breakfast, Qiao Xian took a walk in the yard and checked out the melons, fruits and herbs which she had planted. The seeds of tomatoes could be put down too. She softened the earth and spread down the seeds, poured some superpower of hers into the field so that the sprout could start to grow on the empty, broad land. The seeds were ripe, and they should grow well. Qiao Xian let out a sigh of relief and cheered inwardly. She did not dare to make them grow too fast, so she stopped her superpower as the sprout reached a height of a finger. The door of the yard was often locked, and that was why she dared to use her superpower at this time. When she walked out of the yard, it was time to make lunch. Qiao Xian and Xiao Taotao helped Ms. Fang in making porridge, steamed rolls. They were going to eat them with the chili sauce. Xiao Taotao also put some mushrooms into water, washed some garlic sprouts and beans, so that Ms. Su and the others could fry them when they returned home if they felt like having another. Qiao Xian, Xiao Taotao, and Xiao Xiaoqi finished the food first before going into the floral field to continue with lipstick making. They needed to take advantage of the blooming fresh flowers, otherwise it would be a total waste. This was all money. May had just passed, and the ordinary roses could grow for no longer than 10 more days. Qiao Xian could extend the lifespan, but that was too risky for her. Her actions might cause suspicion. Fortunately, the pomegranate flowers were preparing to bloom soon, and there were several colors of roses that bloomed all year round, so there was no need to worry about raw materials. In the afternoon, Qiao Xian let Xiao Taotao make the lipstick right from the beginning to the end, hoping that she could make a complete lipstick alone. Nervous and excited, Xiao Taotao was shivering throughout the whole process. Fifth sister-in-law had passed on her special skill to her, and she was very excited by that. It was a skill that could guarantee her survival for a lifetime. Fifth sister-in-law must know that when she was able to master the skill, she could earn money on her own, but she still did not keep the skill as a secret. After 3 attempts and under Qiao Xian's instructions, Xiao Taotao finally managed to make 1 lipstick. The girl was so happy that she blushed, expressing her gratitude to Qiao Xian. Fifth sister-in-law, don't worry, I promise never to make money with this separately. Also, I will never pass this secret on to anyone else. Qiao Xian grinned. You can work as my assistant today, but we will see what happens in the future. It is a large business and you can be part of it. Xiao Taotao smiled, and made up her mind. Chapter 215 Displeased Xiao Taotao had just learned the skill and felt very motivated, so Qiao Xian entrusted the work to her whilst she idled around in the floral field. The roses were blooming in such a flourishing way that the petals looked radiant. Due to the help of her superpower, the flowers looked rather beautiful. The pink and rose-colored flowers were pure-looking and together, it seemed as if a waterfall of flowers was created. It was a much larger amount compared to the other kind of roses, because when the blooming period passed, the amount would be reduced drastically. Motivated, Qiao Xian tried to move the flowers into her space. If her space could preserve them, then everything would become so much easier. She could find some time when no one was around so as to urge them to bloom with her superpower, and all those flowers could remain stored in space. But the arrogant space gave no response. It did not accept the flowers. Qiao Xian found it such a pity. When her mind and space were related, she could more or less sense several issues related to space, not necessarily in a specific way but always in the right direction. The space did have the function of saving objects, except that the function had not yet been activated. She could sense that the function must be related to the cabin that emerged every now and then in the mist. Maybe by the time she caught a clear sight of the cabin, she would reach a high degree of magic and initiate the function of storage. It seemed that everything including upgradation was related to the precious plants inside the space. She still needed to find some more. But she was running out of a solution. She needed to find precious goods which the critical space could accept. Qiao Xian had to give up the idea of storing roses and instead focused on making some more lipsticks when the flowers were still blooming. Qiao Xian was going to make a big dinner in the evening, so she returned home earlier than usual. She was going to make a dish of pig head, which would take time. The pig meat was enough for many dishes. Qiao Xian decided to divide it into different parts. She stewed some in the pot, whilst the ears and some small parts could be served as cold dishes or fried with chilies and braised. From the large water tank, she took out a few 3-finger-wide yellow, small crucian carp, small carp, and 2 yellow eels. She stewed a pot of pickled cabbage with a small amount of sauerkraut and dried peppers. This was what dinner was going to include. Ms. Su and the others returned home late, and the moment they arrived, they washed their hands and got ready for dinner. Xiao Taotao and Lu Yen were helping out at home, and the dinner was ready. When Ms. Su heard during lunchtime that Xiao Xian had asked Xiao Taotao to work in the floral field, she hoped to finish her own field work as soon as possible, so that she could start to make money from Qiao Xian. The Xiao family were used to Qiao Xian's food and were glad to see the table full of dishes. Is that pig head? It smells so nice. We have fish with pickles again. It was the first time for young Xiaoni to have a taste of dishes made by Qiao Xian, so after dinner, her eyes were sparkling as she looked at Qiao Xian. Her fifth sister-in-law was so good at cooking, and the pig meat dish as well as the fish were so tasty that she almost lost her tongue while eating. Fish could be so delicious that it was beyond her knowledge. They all had a good time eating, and kept speaking highly of Qiao Xian's cooking skills. They all thought that the banquet served at the wedding was not as delicious. Only the eldest uncle felt a bit annoyed. He realized that Xian refused to cook the previous day only because she did not want to, not because she was too tired to do so. Chapter 216 Ideas. However, if Xian had been the only person who got this idea, he would have definitely disciplined her. He would have told her that she should not have such thoughts when the whole family was together. However, his wife and sons were all helping her out and he was totally left alone, so there was no chance for him to say anything, nor was there any use in saying anything. Eldest uncle felt really heavy-hearted. He felt that the family was slowly scattering. Miss Fang knew exactly what he was thinking when he was silent. She sneered inwardly and pretended as if she had seen nothing. She had thought that her husband would change himself, but it seemed that moving his heart might not be so easy. He believed firmly that the whole family should be together, and that his two brothers needed to be taken good care of. Hence, she decided not to say anything more. Her words would not be as important as those said by his own brothers. So, she was going to wait to see what his brothers would do to him. Let him also realize what they were really like. Just look at what they had done to him when he helped them with seedlings. He only got to eat one dinner at the third section of the family on his first day, and then he came home for 3 meals in the following days. His brothers never let him stay for meals. What was the need to help them? But it was good that the 2 sections of the family did such a thing. Even an honest man like Dalong wasn't so happy about how they behaved. Otherwise Dalong might have offered help to his father, since he was a very soft-hearted person. Soon it was time for Xiao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni to visit her natal family after the wedding. Although they disliked Yang Liang and Ms. Tian, and refused to hang out with the couple, yet Miss Fang would not cut down the return day gifts and ceremony. Miss Fang, according to the rules, prepared the return gifts, which included 2 chickens, 2 jars of wine, 1 kg of honey and 2 mid-sized pieces of meat. All this put together was above the intermediate level of gifting. But as Yang Xiaoni and Xiao Sanlang left the village, she pursed her lips. I don't want to return to my home. Those are such precious gifts and I don't want to give them to my brother and his wife. Xiao Sanlang patted his legs and laughed. We have the same idea. I would rather feed the food to the dog. His wife had not had a comfortable life before she married him. She was never fed well and was always beaten and punished. She was forced to do a lot of work. He really did not want to give the couple any presents. Yang Xiaoni thought for a while and grinned. I think we can keep the honey, which must taste very sweet. It can stay for a long time. Good idea. Xiao Sanlang laughed and added in agreement. This rice wine seems nice too. What about keeping it as well? We can taste it every now and then. It won't go bad for quite some time. Good. Yang Xiaoni nodded. And, we can kill 1 chicken and roast it. It will taste great. Speaking of roasting food, Yang Xiaoni often stole some taro, corn and beans from home to roast them in the field. Sometimes she would dig some yams and roast them to feed herself in the wild field. She had even roasted fish, but she could not process it well enough, so she gave up after 1 attempt. That was how she and Xiao Sanlang met in the first place. Chapter 217. At her home there was one time when she was roasting yams in the wild field when Xiao Sanlang followed the scent. After a few exchanges, the two of them got to know each other and developed feelings. Xiao Sanlang could not help but feel motivated after hearing Yang Xiaoni's opinions. He knew pretty well that roasted chicken could be tasty. That is good, but we don't have any salt with us. The taste would be hampered greatly without seasoning. Yang Xiaoni agreed. Moreover, it was never easy to deal with a chicken which was alive. They could hide meat, but living chickens could not be hidden anyway. They would make noise. What if they were heard and stolen away? But Yang Xiaoni felt really unhappy at the thought that she had to give the meat to Yang Liang and Ms. Tian. She moved out of the Yang family without getting anything and even cut off her relationship with her brother and his wife. She never owed them anything. In fact, she got nothing after working for them for so many years. Rather, they got 20 liang as wedding gifts since she got married. That was already a big bonus for them. She really did not want to get involved with them anymore. Oh yes. Xianxia cried, as she said to Xiao Sanlang. Let's go into the mountains and visit my parents. Her parents were already deceased, and were buried in the Yang family's graveyard. When her parents were alive, they loved her and gave her a lot of food and clothes in winter. When she was sick, her mother took care of her and made her steamed eggs. But everything ceased to exist after her parents passed away. Her brother and sister-in-law were not her family. She did not want to return there. It would be great if they could visit her parents. She would kowtow to them and tell them that she had married into a very nice family, so they could be assured. Xiao Sanlang, who did not like Yang Liang and his wife, agreed heartily with what Xianxia said. This is a good idea. I will kowtow to my in-laws, and it is like a return day too. Yes. Xianxia nodded with force. So the easygoing couple forgot about Yang Liang and Ms. Tian and headed towards the Yang family's graveyard. The couple kowtowed in front of Yang Xiani's parents' graves, removed the weed and cleaned a little bit of the surroundings. Then they put the chicken and meat in front of the graves, poured wine 3 times, and talked a little before leaving together. They did not avoid running into people, so they were seen by passers-by. They even explained why they were here. People were dumbfounded when they heard that. They could not help but gossip about it, and soon some nosy ones narrated the whole thing at Yang Liang's home. They just loved gossip. Yang Liang and Ms. Tian were shocked. Then, they got really furious. What are they thinking? What do they mean? That is how the Xiao family teaches their son. Xianxia learnt nothing from them. What are they trying to do? Honestly, the couple had been waiting for Xiao Sanlang and Xianxia to visit them since morning. They expected the couple to bring some gifts. Miss Tian had even prepared a speech to threaten Xiao Sanlang and Xianxia, so that she could control them in the future. Chapter 218. Embarrassed, she had intended to warn Xianxia, telling her that even if she was married, she should never forget about her own family. She was going to remind her that a girl without her own home support would be bullied by her mother-in-law's family until she passed away. However, she made the full plan and believed that she would be able to take control of Xianxia, but Xianxia and Xiao Sanlang did not even show up. What kind of family are they, when they do not even know that they should have presents prepared on the return day? Shame on them. Miss Tian was so annoyed, yet the villagers were all laughing at her. Some people even mocked her. Well, your words are not entirely true. They went to their parents' graves to pay tribute. That can be counted as a return day ceremony too, right? Yeah, when Xiani's parents were alive, they loved her deeply, and Xiani is a good-hearted girl who knows that she should take her husband to visit them. It should be counted as a return day, right? Xiani does have some unique ideas, ha 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 ha. Hearing those words, Miss Tian got angry beyond words. She rushed back to the house and slammed the door shut. Did you hear that? Miss Tian sneered at Yang Liang. That damned girl refuses to be under us, and you were dreaming about continuing to be her brother. Yang Liang felt very embarrassed too. Any married girl should come back to their home on return day, otherwise her natal family would be so embarrassed. Then what should we do? Miss Tian sneered. Of course we should go to the door to demand an explanation. They are bullying us. We should teach them a lesson. Miss Tian was going to cause such a fuss that the damned girl would never have an easy time at her mother-in-law's family. Thinking of how Xianxia and Xiao Sanlang went to her deceased in-laws' graves with chicken, meat and wine instead of bringing those things home, Miss Tian felt even more irritated. This goddamned girl looked honest on the surface, but she knew that Xianxia hated her deeply inside her heart. But she had not expected that the girl would have done something like this. In this way, she should not be blamed for taking the revenge. Yang Liang hesitated. Is this a good idea? He was a coward, and wanted to have a good reputation. He could lecture young Xiaoni when they were at home, but he could not demean himself by making a fuss at someone else's door. Miss Tian pointed at his forehead and said, "You coward. They have bullied you to your bones, and you don't even dare to stand up for yourself. Are you a man or not?" Lectured by Miss Tian and thinking of what young Xiaoni did, causing him to become a joke, Yang Liang suddenly felt really furious. He said through clenched teeth, "Okay, okay. I will make sure she suffers." "Now you said it right." Miss Tian sneered. Along with her two sons, she and Yang Liang headed to Shouting Village in anger. Xiao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni had already returned by lunchtime. They hid the two living chickens in their own room and put the 2 pieces of meat in the kitchen, saying that those were the presents from home. Miss Fang did not think that it was possible, but seeing that the couple did not even stay for lunch, Miss Fang found that it might have happened. The couple might have tried to steal meat from Yang Liang and his wife's hands, so maybe the couple got annoyed and drove them out before serving them lunch. But it was okay, they could have better food at home. It seemed that it was right for them to have brought back the meat. The couple was so unkind, and she would support whatever her son wanted to do. Chapter 219. Not Miss Fang. After lunchtime, Yang Xiaoni and Xiao Sanlang headed into the field to work with Xiao Dalong and Miss Su. They wanted to finish their own labor work during the afternoon, so that they could start to earn money the following day. Naturally, all of them were highly motivated. However, Miss Tian, together with her 2 sons and Yang Liang, rushed in at the moment. Miss Tian had the intention of causing a big fuss, so the moment she walked into the village, she started to shout loudly and attracted numerous villagers' attention. There was not much entertainment in the village, so when such a show was on, everyone quickly gathered around. The fight between 2 women would be a juicy piece of gossip that could last for 2 months at least. Seeing many villagers attracted by her, Miss Tian became increasingly confident and she started to shout loudly. "You don't even do the return day? That behavior is way over the top. Yes, it sounds unreasonable. Is it true? I don't think the Xiao family would do something like this." Well, Miss Fang has a bad personality and she definitely takes revenge, yet she always sticks to the rules. Moreover, she treats Miss Su and Miss Qiao equally. But I don't think that Yang Liang and Miss Tian are lying. They can't be lying because something like this cannot be kept as a secret. Well, let's watch and see what happens. Yes, let's see. So, the whole gang rushed to the Xiao family's home with Yang Liang and Miss Tian. Ms. Niu and Ms. Ma were also among the crowd. They were laughing with their eyes sparkling. The 2 of them were not saying anything, fearing that their words would again reach Miss Fang's ears, which would not be a good thing for them. Miss Fang was not in a good mood these days. She even hit people. Miss Fang was so shocked when Miss Tian came to the door. "What do you mean? Not allowing them to return home? Miss Tian, do you think that I am so easily bullied? I prepared chicken, meat, and wine for Yang Xiaoni and Xiao Sanlang so that they can go to your home for the ceremony. How dare you accuse me?" The villagers nodded in agreement. That was true. Miss Fang would never have allowed such a thing to happen. Miss Tian sneered. "How dare you claim this? Xiaoni never came to my home, someone must have told her not to. Instead, they went to my in-laws' graves and left straight from there. This behavior is so unreasonable." What? What did she say? Everyone was startled. People had heard about Miss Tian's complaint, but when the matter was explained like this, they were all shocked. It was indeed a special move which they had never seen before. Shocked, Miss Fang shouted furiously into the room and said, "Why are you hiding? Get out here and explain." Yang Xiaoni and Xiao Sanlang were both shocked. They had never expected that Yang Liang and Ms. Tian would come to the door because of this. Anxious, they subconsciously hid into the room. But the couple had no choice and came out after Miss Fang shouted at them. Seeing young Xiaoni, Miss Tian got so furious that she stepped forward to slap her face. You bitch, how dare you, ah! Xiao Sanlang defended young Xiaoni and pushed Miss Tian away, glaring at her. What are you doing? You better not touch my wife. Chapter 220 Weirdos, you. Standing there furiously, Miss Tian just could not vent her anger and was frustrated. For one moment, she almost felt dizzy. She could not touch this damned girl anymore. That was such a loss she felt that she got even more furious. She regretted badly to have approved of this marriage. She should have cut it off at the beginning. Moved, young Xiaoni started to sob and looked at Xiao Sanlang passionately. Third brother, you treat me so nicely. No one treated me so well like you do after my parents passed away. I will definitely treat your parents well too. The villagers found it both funny and pitiful. Standing next to Ms. Fang, Qiao Xian tried to hold her laughter. Her third sister-in-law was such a funny person. The Yang village and the Shouting village were not very far apart, and the famous families were famous across the villages. For example, weird couples like Yang Liang and his wife who treated their sister badly was a fact known to almost everyone. They should have realized what Ms. Tian and Yang Liang were like, when they saw how Ms. Tian, without hesitation, went up to slap young Xiaoni right on the face. She must be very used to doing this, so people immediately started to look at her differently. They were such a weird couple. Ms. Tian regretted a little to have been so impulsive. So, she threw herself to the ground with her two sons. They are bullying us. The whole Xiao family were here, including the brothers and daughter-in-laws, surrounding Yang Liang and his wife as well as the two children. It did seem like a mob bullying the weak. Miss Fang's veins popped on her forehead. She glared at her son and frowned. Ms. Tian, stop being a bitch, I won't be fooled by this act. Just stick to the matter. You should never dream about trying to get any sort of justice through this bitchy move. I will not allow you to throw your temper here at my home. Qiao Xian said to Lu Yan with a smile, go and fetch a chair for Madame Xiao and serve her some tea too. Okay, second Mississippi. Lu Yan politely and quickly went to fetch the chair from the inner room. Qiao Xian helped Ms. Fang sit down. Mom, please take a seat. Then Xiao Xian took over the tea and served Ms. Fang politely. Mom, drink some tea and make sure your throat is moist. This is going to be a long conversation. Okay. Ms. Fang picked up the cup and took a sip, then she grinned happily. She would let this bitch do whatever she wanted for now. She was simply going to watch a show. Ms. Fang felt even more happy when she saw the villagers looking at her with jealousy. Miss Tian was dumbfounded. Yang Liang looked even more furious. You are such a bully. Ms. Ma felt itchy, so she said, eldest sister-in-law, how can you drink tea at a time like this? Why not solve it quickly? Ms. Fang threw a cold look at her and said calmly, I can't do anything when she refuses to talk. Miss Tian, are you ready to speak now? Miss Tian got so annoyed that she almost spilled blood. She wished that Miss Fang could start a fight with her, so that she could charge her for medical compensation. Also, if her two children were shocked, they would have asked for compensation for that as well. However, she started to act as the high-status Madame Xiao. She sat down, surrounded by her children, making Miss Tian not daring to go forward. Chapter 221 Not Return. Yang Liang tried to calm himself down. My sister married your family and you need to help her do something on the return day. But you are bullying us by not letting her return. Miss Fang frowned. I saw them off this morning, which was also seen by the neighbors. I did not stop them. Third, Ms. Yang, explain it to them. Xiao Sanlang was about to speak when Yang Xiaoni pinched him, and said with pursed lips, "Mom, we did return, but I went to my parents' grave to pay tribute. Can't that be counted as a return?" Yang Liang got furious. "Damn girl, what are you talking about?" Yang Xiaoni looked at them. Her eyes were sparkling, but she turned pale. Yang Xiaoni said to Yang Liang, "I don't have a home without my parents. You know pretty well how you have treated me during the past years. You asked for 20 liang as the wedding gifts, but I have no dowry. Even my wedding gown was given by my mother-in-law. How can I be grateful to you, when you have treated me like this? I can't do the return day ceremony with you. I was ordered to do the seedling work in the field, chopping wood, carrying water, laundry and all kinds of labor work, but I was never fed well. I owe you nothing. Since you are here, I want to let you know that I am not going to have any relationship with you from this moment on. You have sold me for 20 liang already. How I spend my days at my mother-in-law's home has nothing to do with you." Yang Liang turned pale. Many people present understood clearly how Yang Xiaoni lived her life before she got married. They sighed and discussed the matter among themselves. Yang Xiaoni had such a terrible life, but for her luck she married Xiao Sanlang. Her future would have been much worse. How shameless Yang Liang and his wife were, and even dared to cause a fuss till date. Still, some people talked from the point of morality. He is your brother. Brother and sister should not hate each other. Moreover, you are married now, how much hatred can there be? Yes, they are still relatives, why be so ruthless? Your brother and sister-in-law have brought you up. You should be kind to them. Just calm down, you are a family and you should be in harmony." Yang Xiaoni screamed in anger. "It didn't happen to you, so you will never know what it feels like. Anyone who says so should get relatives like this, and experience it personally." Some people became anxious and snapped. "What are you talking about? Why are you cursing us? You are so immature." Yang Xiaoni snapped and sneered. "You know this is a curse, right? Since you don't want anyone like this in your family, why are you forcing me? Why do I deserve to have such a hard life?" Ms. Fang said coldly, "All you outsiders, stop interfering. We will solve the matter ourselves, you both can also leave now." Ms. Tian glared at Yang Xiaoni and felt very unconvinced. Yang Liang was very embarrassed and left with Ms. Tian in a hurry. Ms. Fang sneered behind them. "It doesn't look good to make a fuss like this. The Yang family's reputation is ruined by you. We should all be sensible." Yang Liang staggered for a moment and then hurried away. Chapter 222. Bad luck. Seeing the show was over and Ms. Fang was driving people away, the audience left. Ms. Niu and Ms. Ma, who believed that they were part of the family, remained and continued to giggle. They were trying to convince Yang Xiaoni not to throw a tantrum and that she had only one brother whom she should cherish, or she would regret it in future. They both sounded as if they were very concerned about her. Yang Xiaoni was really annoyed, but Ms. Niu and Ms. Ma were seniors of the family and she could not counter them. Ms. Fang got impatient and said, "You two, stop talking about those scumbags. Honestly, those shameless people who keep taking advantage of their family with the excuse of family relations should never exist. Anyone who has such relatives is just pure unlucky." The faces of Ms. Niu and Ms. Ma sank. These words sounded very piercing. Mom is right. Xiao Sanlang glanced at them and said to Ms. Niu happily, "Second aunt, do you think that the couple is nice? They have 2 sons, and if you think that they are nice, you can become in-laws with them and spend the rest of your lives together." Before Xiao Sanlang finished the words, Ms. Niu shouted and was about to hit Xiao Sanlang. "What are you talking about?" Xiao Sanlang dodged and smiled. "Second aunt, you keep speaking highly of them. I am only trying to come up with some ideas for you. Why are you hitting me rather than thanking me? How ungrateful." Yang Xiaoni laughed. Seeing his wife smirk, Xiao Sanlang teased even more loudly. Ms. Niu got annoyed and said, "Eldest sister-in-law, look at your third son. He has no rules. Miss Fang glanced at her and replied calmly. He is simply following your words. Why is he unruly? You can get close to the couple if you don't think that the couple is annoying. Just stop it. Eldest uncle, who had been hiding in the room, stepped forward and glared at Xiao Sanlang. When Miss Tian and Yang Liang were making a fuss a while ago, eldest uncle got so anxious that he had no idea what to do. So, he just hid himself in the room and pretended as if he was not at home. Miss Fang also wished that he did not show up, otherwise her husband might have said something that put her own family in the disadvantageous place. She could handle the couple when her sons and daughter-in-laws were together. Eldest uncle only showed up now. And this was the scene he ran into. Xiao Sanlang sneered. Dad, it is the second aunt who started it. Ms. Niu snapped. Why don't you talk about your third aunt? Why just me alone? Ms. Ma was displeased as she threw a look at her. Second sister-in-law, what are you talking about? Why am I involved in this? Qiao Xian laughed. These two were just great together. Once they started to argue, Miss Fang got impatient. Go to your home and fight with each other. You have no right to talk about our family. Also, if you spread any rumors about today, just wait and see what I will do. Chapter 223 Venting anger interrupted. Ms. Niu and Ms. Ma could not continue with the previous topic any longer. They mumbled curses among themselves and left. Miss Fang glared at Xiao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni. You too, a word. Miss Fang did not blame them for what happened today. On the contrary, she even believed that they were not wrong, though what they did was a bit shocking. She agreed with them that it was much better to get rid of the relatives who annoyed them. Therefore, she felt a bit happy to see Yang Xiaoni doing this. It was a kind of anger venting. However, these two children were just too bold. They did such a thing in secret and even hid it from her. Good that they were lucky enough to have the whole family at home. Moreover, Miss Tian as well as Yang Liang did not have anyone supporting them, so they were easily controlled and revenge was easily extracted. If it had been someone with some support who caused a big fuss and accused them, then they would have been on the back foot. They needed to be disciplined in case they did the same thing again. After being disciplined by Miss Fang, both Xiao Sanlang and Yang Xiaoni felt distressed. But Miss Fang only taught them a lesson rather than give them a hard time. She did not make Yang Xiaoni suffer because of this. When it was dinner time, Qiao Xian made some good dishes and Yang Xiaomi became cheerful again after eating the food. Miss Fang had been watching the couple, who shared the same personality. Their eyes sparkled as soon as they saw good food and forgot everything else. Miss Fang was speechless. They deserved each other. When the work in the fields was done, Xiao Xian asked Ms. Su and Yang Xiaoni as well as some family members to help her out in the floral field. They would be paid 30 yuan a day. Yang Xiaoni was as surprised as Miss Su had been at the beginning. At 30 yuan a day, which included 10 yuan for the shared savings, Miss Fang changed the rules about shared savings. She could save 20 yuan for herself, with which she could travel into the town and buy a lot of good food to eat. She could buy sugar pastry, dried plums, melon seeds, peanuts and meat slice noodles, etc. She was going to eat everything with her husband. Qiao Xian also gave away one set of lipsticks to Yang Xiaoni. Yang Xiaoni was so thankful and glad to receive the lipsticks that she wanted to give Qiao Xian a tight hug to express her gratitude. Women could never turn down cosmetics. Yang Xiaoni started to put it on, unlike Ms. Su, who did not use it immediately. She even put on a blusher which Xiao Sanlang bought for her. She was in a good mood after she got married. Her mother-in-law's family was great. She could eat good food, and she was becoming prettier than before. She looked so attractive that Xiao Sanlang adored her even more. The couple wanted to stick with each other from morning to the evening and kept smiling at each other and working together too. Miss Su rolled her eyes at their behavior, and Xianxia felt shy about the scene. She had been overly fed by their sweet and sticky behavior. It was soon the time to plant mushrooms. Xianxia asked Xiao Dalong and Xiao Sanlang to chop some trees for the materials. It was not very easy to chop trees and carry them back to the yard. So, Xianxia paid them 60 yuan a day for the task. Chapter 224 No more trouble. Actually, labor work only cost 21 in the market, and lunch was not provided. The workers were under strict watch all the time and had no spare moment to slow down. But even if that was the case, there were still many people who would want to work there. Xianxia could not be so particular towards her own family. Labor work was very tiring and she needed to make sure that she paid well. Xiao Sanlang and Xiao Dalong were not enough. So Xianxia asked Xiao Dalong to ask their cousins for help. Xianxia stressed repeatedly this time. If someone asks about this, just say that you are paid 21 a day, understand? 21 was a normal and slightly high price. 61 would draw too much attention from the villagers. Xianxia wanted to keep a low profile. She just did not want to be the center of the attention, in case she exposed herself easily. She did not want Xiao Wei to do anything crazy to her again. Xiao Dalong nodded and turned to look for his cousins. Xiao Dali and his brother were so glad that they nodded immediately, swearing not to spread the truth. 61 a day, they had never been paid so much. They could buy more than 5 kilograms of lower quality rice with just 1 day's payment. Moreover, the Xiao family offered lunch as well. Xianxia, together with Xiao Taotao, Xiao Xiaoqi, Ms. Su, and Yang Xiaoni, was working on the lipsticks in the floral field. They would look to find the fungus when they had the materials ready. Xianxia felt that her superpower had been expanded to another hundreds of meters, and it was not very difficult to find what she needed in the mountains. There were definitely shiitakes and wooden ears, but snow fungus should be easily found as well. Xianxia asked Xiao Yunduan to buy some meat for home, as well as some ducks and chicken. It was summertime, and the meat could not be preserved for too long. They could keep the chicken and ducks alive until they felt like using them for food. They had more than 30 chickens with different sizes, but they were used to lay eggs, and the ducks had not grown big enough yet. They almost ran out of the fish in the jar, and in the afternoon, Xianxia, Xiao Taotao, and Xiao Dali went to catch the fish and shrimps in the river, taking a break from their heavy work. But she paid them the salary anyway. Feeling bored, Yang Xiaoni followed them to the riverside as well. Xianxia thought for a while and asked Lu Yan to tag along. She could help them carry the bucket or the basket. Lu Yan was already quite tamed, yet Xianxia still could not trust her, so she never allowed her to walk in the yard or the floral field. That she was planting fruit trees, medical herbs, and making lipsticks in the floral field was a secret to be kept only among the family, and was never mentioned to Lu Yan. Lu Yan also knew that the Xiao family had some secret, or more like second miss who had a secret. She would have tried to dig it out in the beginning, but after all this time, she did not dare to. She had to pretend as if she knew nothing. Second miss was in charge of her, and what she needed was to live in peace and spend the remaining days well so as to return to the Qiao mansion safe and sound. She truly did not dare to cause any more trouble. She was wrong, so were Elder Miss, Madame Qiao and Old Master. Second Miss was not timid or cowardly. On the contrary, she was smart, bold and far more tricky than any of them could have expected. To control her, all Second Miss needed to do was to throw her into the second section of the family and make her suffer. Chapter 225 Incomplete awareness about Second Miss Lu Yan understood clearly what she ought to do, obey Xianxia's order. For example, right now, when Xianxia ordered her to carry the basket and bucket to the riverside, she should follow it quietly. Was she without help? No, she was just trained to carry a bucket. The group came to the riverside where the water grass was flourishing and the surface was broad. They started to work proficiently. With her superpower, Xianxia could see big fish swimming across the grass freely, and she really wanted to help. It was time for her to get a fish net and learn to fish. Xianxia was fishing when Xianxia offered a hand. She had the basket around her waist, and went into the river to scoop up the shrimps. Xiao Tao Tao and Xianxia dug some ponds from under the stone somewhere where the water was not so deep. Lu Yan did not have the intention of going into the water, nor did Xianxia ask her to. She was ordered to watch over the things on the bank. She spent so many years inside the mansion, and she would have never learned how to get into water. She might even scare the fish and shrimps away after being slow-handed. Lu Yan was shocked. She knew that the second miss had changed. But what she had not expected was that she never knew second miss well enough. How did second miss learn to do this? Xianxia flipped the stone and caught a shrimp at each attempt. Fish and shrimp were different. They were never fast enough to escape the siege. They were slow enough to be caught, even when they ran from one rock to the other. Xiao Tao Tao and Xianxia were excited, and soon they had more than 20 and 30 shrimps in the basket. Xianxia did not spend much effort to scoop the shrimps, which were of different sizes. Some were really small. Sometimes they would find a couple of loaches, some large fish or eels. Crabs were available too, but she tossed them back into the river. Xiaoqi was watching over the fishing poles. The fish here were never caught, so they were easily hooked. He kept getting the fish from the river one after another. Lu Yan went to help put the fish into the bucket. Seeing the fish in the bucket, Lu Yan could not help but feel happy, thinking that it was a fun activity. After a while, they all went home with the harvest. They had a heavy basket of small river prawns and small fish, a large basket of prawns, and 2 buckets filled with fish. There were mandarin fish, yellowhead catfish, carp, Christian carp, shrimp loach, catfish, as well as 2 black fish and a grouper. Back at home, they put the hopping fish into the jar, and Xianxia poured some superpower into the water, because of which the watergrass grew so that the fish started to look energetic. They kept the shrimps in the basin for dinner. Xianxia planned to boil the prawns in boiling water, mix it with soy sauce, vinegar, sesame oil, and ginger to dip them in water, peel off the shells of the prawns and eat them directly. That was the best way to eat fresh shrimp. Then they poured the small shrimps and fish into the basin and scooped out the small fish. The small shrimps were baked in the pot, so were the fish, which had very soft and thin bones. They needed to be carefully flipped and baked separately with the shrimps, since they cracked easily. You're tuning in to the Carefree Valley YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.